It's the Chris and Amy Show. Check it out.
St. Louis, Mound City, we are going to have a great day today.
Now, Amy Marks scores Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Let's take it from the top.
It's Halloween. Ooh, good morning, friends. How are you? It is the Chris and Amy Show. Amy Marks scores is right in front of me. I'm Chris Ranji, and we have a phone number so that you can yell at us. 314-436-7900. You can also say nice things, too. You can text nice things. You can leave us a voice message with a nice thing to say about how we keep your day going or something. On the Odyssey app, you send us a voice message. You'll see the little icon, and it says, send a message. You can do that. Very, very easy. We are streaming live on multiple platforms where you can watch us. Of course, you could listen to us on the Odyssey app, but you can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at, it's on Twitter, it's at KMOX 1120. That's what it is.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everybody will be talking about.
That's right. It is Halloween, and the ghouls are out today, including in the studio. A couple of ghouls in here.
And we are less than a week from Election Day. Who would have thought that garbage would be the topic that everyone's talking about?
Still?
Trump wore a worker's safety vest.
He did.
That was making the news. But to really talk about the environment leading into the final days of the election, we have got CBS Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett, who will join us in a bit.
And the New York Yankees absolutely blow their World Series chances.
Oh.
And Tommy Edman, Jack Flaherty, and the LA Dodgers are World Series victors. So we will talk some baseball as well. Bernie Miklasz will join the show today. Got a lot coming up. Betsy Burnett Belanger, who is with the Lemp Mansion, historian and tour guide. Also, the resident paranormal expert is going to join the show today. And we have a homeowner of a Halloween haunt, which is raising money for ALS. That is coming up too. So a lot happening on the show with Amy. I'm Chris. You mentioned it. It is 5 days away until the general election. I don't know what it is, but it just kind of feels like it simultaneously feels like it's tomorrow, but also 6 months from now. I don't know how that's possible, but that's exactly how I feel.
Tyler Rosen's shaking his head too. You feel like it's tomorrow? Like it just feels like it's sooner?
I don't really, it feels kind of like what Ranji said. It's right there, but also a million miles away. And I also just want it to be over. Let's move past the day and just get it over with.
Did you vote already, Tyler?
No, I'm going to go on election day.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
26.
Okay. I had an interesting conversation with some 20-something-year-old voters the other day. And I think I wasn't expecting the conversation. I know these people. I know the voters. But I didn't know their political leanings. I might have had a guess, but I'm not sure. And I was shocked when I talked to, the three of them. What do you think they were going to do on voting day or come early voting?
So are we just assuming that they're voting, right?
No, we're not assuming they're voting. We're assuming they're disaffected, that they might be Republican, they might be Democrat. I didn't know. I assumed they didn't love anybody.
Okay.
But what do you think? I was like, okay, if you guys don't mind me asking, who are you voting for? These are three males in their 20s.
Three males in their 20s.
Yep.
I honestly have no guess. I don't know what I have no guess. I feel like people in their 20s are more engaged now than they were 15 years ago, probably. Maybe prior to Obama. But I couldn't tell you. I couldn't even begin to take a guess that I'd be confident.
And it was kind of a bad question on my part because it was a little bit too open-ended since I know them and you don't. I had a lot more background.
Yeah.
I do know them. I couldn't tell if they would lean more conservative because what I know about them, but also they're younger. And a lot of times younger people, whether you are religious or not religious, you tend to be a little bit more progressive.
So are these three young men who are conservative leaning fundamentally?
I don't know about their politics. Here's what I knew.
Okay.
Is that faith is important to them.
Okay.
To different degrees. They're not hostile towards religion, right? Like a lot of my friends happen to be. They're not. Their faith is important to them, but they're in their 20s. One of them isn't voting at all. It's a long ballot, but one of them's like, I'm not voting. And I'm like, you gotta vote. It's not just about the president. Another one is voting, but not voting for president. A third one is undecided. Doesn't know what to do.
And you had this conversation when?
2 days ago. And again, I think I pretty much buried the lead. I set it up wrong. Basically, there were 3 young guys that I know that, again, I know that they're not hostile towards religion. Like, they go to church, they're, I would say they kind of, if you had to, one of them's kind of hipster, one of them's more traditional, the other guy looks kind of businessy. Like, it's just a good mix of 20-somethings. I was shocked.
Do they pay attention to politics at all throughout the course of the year?
Yes.
So they are paying. All right, that's a thing.
I was shocked.
All right,
I'm shocked, Ron. I'm shocked.
Okay. Do they pay good attention? Like they have a pretty good grasp on what's happening?
Yes.
Like 2 months ago, they really know what's happening.
Yes, because one of them went off on the situation in Gaza. Okay. And another one is.
But what about domestic politics?
Domestic politics, yes.
Okay.
And I would say probably to an average degree, they are not just so engaged. We pay attention and then I get burned out, but they like to keep up. I mean, reading, one of them reads the Wall Street Journal, they're not 20-year-olds just living their life going, I'm going to go out at night. They've got jobs.
Sure. 2
of them are married. And the one that's not voting, I literally said, oh my gosh, you have stabbed me in the heart. You've stabbed me in the heart. You have to vote.
So I don't really understand. There are a couple of things I don't get. One of them is if you do pay attention to politics more than just, okay, it's 2 weeks out. Let me get a look at these 2 clowns I get to vote for. If you have an idea of what's happening in the world and what's happening in the country, I don't understand I don't understand going out of your way to learn about politics in the moment for months and months and months. And then the moment that it actually matters, the reason that you learn all of these things, your opportunity to vote, not voting, that I don't really get. That's one I don't get. The other one I don't get is how you can be 5 days out and not know what you're doing.
Well,
because the two, if we're talking about president, the 2 candidates are vastly different. It's not like you're in the store and you're looking at all the different kinds of toothpaste where they all do the same thing, but one's whitening, one's not whitening, but it's extra strength. Like, I don't know. I mean, they're both going to kind of do the same job, right? That I understand more having choice paralysis with toothpaste than I do for president.
Yeah. And again, I mean, we're insane. Our whole lives is politics. I wish it weren't. It's super toxic and it's making me a terrible person. I feel like they're normal.
That's not what's doing
it. They keep up with politics. With the guy that is not voting at all, I think he's disgusted by everything. He's frustrated. I think to a degree he feels like his vote's not going to matter. And to me, it doesn't matter. Your vote is important. It doesn't matter if your candidate loses. It's still important. It's, our civic duty. And so for me, I said, you have stabbed me in the heart. That's how I feel. You have to go vote.
There are people who believe that. And I know that for some of the things I'm going to vote for, I know that being in Missouri, I know my vote won't count. I know it's going to count. It's just not going to matter.
Yeah.
Because of the overwhelming people on the other side. And that's fine. But I do think margin matters a little bit.
I do too. And I think when you
go back, on principle, when you go back and look at the final results, and if it is an election where, somebody wins, but they just barely win as opposed to winning by a lot, where 10 million more people vote for this one person over the other, I think that does kind of matter. So because it should eliminate that idea of I have a mandate.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if it's close, then you should have to recognize as the president or whatever you've won that you have to govern for everybody. You're not just governing for your people.
Yeah, and if you think that the current situation is a raging dumpster fire, whatever it is, whether it's amendments or the presidential candidates or the senatorial candidates, let's say you think it's a raging dumpster fire and your little water pistol isn't going to make a difference, I don't care. On principle, show up and squirt that water pistol at the dumpster fire. Because guess what? If 50,000 people who felt that their water pistols wouldn't make a difference all showed up anyway, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And again, and maybe, like you said, just on principle, even whether you put the fire out or at least make it a little bit tougher for the fire to keep on raging, show up with your little water pistol and shoot it on the dumpster fire.
It's like a dissenting opinion on the Supreme Court. It doesn't matter in the ruling, but it matters for context.
And I will say the other guy who said he may not vote for president, but he's voting on all the other 7,000 issues on the ballot. I know a few people who have said that. And in fact, again, we have our text line and our call line, 314-436-7900.
And our voice
text
messages.
Or call. And our voice messages on our Odyssey app, the KMOX page, the microphone icon, because I talked to those 3 voters. Then I talked to 3 other adult voters who were conservative-leaning women. They said, well, I'm going to vote on everything, but I can't tell if I'm going to write in a candidate for president or leave it blank. Because they said they're not voting for Trump, but they don't know what to do, if they should write in a candidate, vote for Kamala Harris, or leave it blank. They don't know.
And I have a thought on third-party candidates, too, because that's an option for a lot of people, and we'll talk about that when we come back. But we do want to hear from you, as Amy said, 314-436-7900. On the Odyssey app, there's a little button that says, it's got a microphone, and it says, send us a message. Do that. We'd love to hear from you. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office.
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
Count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Welcome to Willie's Wings, home of the secret sauce.
I'll take a dozen wings. Oh, by the way, I love that sauce. What's in it?
Can't tell you.
Why not?
It's a secret.
While many financial advisors claim to have the secret sauce, they don't. In fact, if their sauce is so good, why are they keeping it a secret? Steve All of the All Financial Group doesn't keep anything a secret. He knows there's much more to retirement planning than stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. He'll develop a strategy designed specifically for you. It's your own secret sauce for retirement. Call Steve today at 636-230-8824 for your personal portfolio x-ray. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Fine, you want to know what's in the sauce?
Absolutely.
Tablespoon of paprika.
Really?
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan Silver Dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Americans treasure owning silver bars and coins, putting them away for themselves and their loved ones. Call now to secure 1 ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. You'll be glad you did. Hurry, don't miss out on this special deal. Save $10 per silver bar. The more you buy, the more you save. Limit of 25 bars per customer. Call to learn more. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan Silver Dollar. That's a $59.95 value and free shipping. Call 1-800-222-3871 now to secure your 1 ounce Morgan Silver Dollar bars. That's 1-800-222-3871.
Rich Orris hosts the KMOX Home Improvement Show, presented by Mosby Building Arts. Saturday at 11 on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
You are going to want to stick around on KMOX News. At 11 o'clock, we are expecting an announcement, a non-sporting announcement as it pertains to City Park, City SC. So not sure what it is, but KMOX News is going to have all the details for you. But we do know that at 11 o'clock, there is an announcement coming from our soccer team.
So you said a non-sporting, like not a team announcement.
Yeah, I don't think it, from what I understand, it has nothing to do with the roster.
Got it.
Or the coaching staff or anything like that. But it is a City SC announcement.
Maybe they're going to make a petition to eliminate ties.
That's not
because they're un-American.
No, that's part of the sporting thing. It's not sporting. It has nothing to do with
sports.
The field.
Okay. All right. Well, we were talking about voters, and like I said, I buried the lead here. But very, very interesting because like I said, I have talked to 3 20-something-year-old male voters who I didn't know how they would lean politically. I knew, faith was kind of important to them, or they go to church. 2 of them are married. They keep up with the news. One of them doesn't want to vote at all. One of them will vote, but not vote for president. And the other one's like not quite sure. And I think it might be all the options are open. Not vote for Harris, vote for Trump. And I was just kind of surprised. The not voting at all is like a stab in my heart. I'm like, the ballot's so long. Yeah, the ballot's so long.
Yeah. Now,
I also talked to some older women who lean conservative who are not voting for Trump. They are not voting for Trump. And I say older, I mean like 50s, 60s, right? Just older than 20s. And 2 of them are uncertain if they're going to vote for Harris or write in like Nikki Haley. They know they're not voting for Trump.
Right. So here's my thing about the third party. I get the protest vote. I get if you have a feeling one way or the other, like you think one of the candidates is going to be less bad than the other, which I don't know how if you're really paying attention and have been paying attention, I don't know how you couldn't have a lean at this point. I don't see how you couldn't have enough information to know which one would be worse for us than the other. And you could think either one would be worse for us, but I can't imagine not knowing which one. I can't imagine looking at them and saying, nope, exactly the same person, so therefore I'm just not going to vote. And the thing about third-party candidates, so like the Jill Steins and the Cornel Wests and when RFK was running, and anybody who does not have a legitimate opportunity to win. And hear me when I say this, third-party candidates do not and will not maybe ever in our lifetimes have an opportunity to win.
The system's not set up that way.
It's not set up for it. It's not realistic. If a third party wants to become a viable third party, like a real player, then you need to start with local elections, get on school boards, get on city councils, maybe state legislature, maybe U.S. Congress, Senate. Then you work your way up to president. You don't do what Jill Stein does every 4 years, say, no one's ever heard of me. I'm running for president now. She's completely useless. She's completely useless as a candidate. So I don't, me personally, I do not understand not having a lean at this point. But I know that it's true. A lot of people don't have a lean. For example, we got a number of texters who have said that. This one right here says, this is from an 816, this is the least important election of our lifetimes. We are guaranteed a terrible president, and refusing to vote for either of these idiots is a rational decision. There's no reason anybody should feel obligated to vote for somebody they don't want to win. That is one text message. I do not at all agree with that, but that is one person's opinion. Here's another. I dislike both candidates so much, I cannot vote for either one. It's better on my conscience to say, honestly, I didn't support either one than to settle and just vote for one because I'm supposed to choose. Again, I do not agree, but that is that person's opinion. Here's another.
Wow.
Chris and Amy, I love you guys. That's right. That's the first time somebody's texted in and been right today. Thank you for being
okay.
Thank you for being real and honest with your political opinions, not yet overly aggressive and forcing your worldviews on your audience. Reminder to all of my fellow Americans, we all recognize our democracy is not perfect, but its beauty lies in that each of us does have a voice. Vote, but understand too, this system works only with the peaceful transfer of leadership and or political powers and parties. So
yeah, and I will
we
say,
have other texts coming in too.
Again, even if you feel like your vote's not going to count, vote. I not only is it a civic duty and it's a great privilege, there's so many people in the world who've lost their lives fighting for the right to vote, to have a
so
say.
that we can have it.
Yes, around the world. Well, yes, so many people from here who have fought, yes, like our military, but in other countries too. You think of Russia, people who try to stand up to Putin, right? And they've lost their lives trying to fight for freedom, the right to vote, for democratic processes. So it not only is it a great privilege and a right, but I always say character is what you do when no one's looking. So even if you feel like your vote doesn't matter, go vote. Vote because on principle, because it's the right thing to do.
Let's quickly get to Luke, who I believe is joining us from Oklahoma. Hello, Luke.
Yeah, hey, this is Luke. Actually, I'm in St. Louis, but I kept my Oklahoma phone number.
Good for you. Well, welcome to St. Louis.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I listen to you guys every day driving in to teach at St. Louis University. I teach philosophy and ethics. And I just wanted to say my thought about this kind of thing, I personally struggle with it a lot too. I think that people don't know what to do in moral dilemmas. And the more I've studied this and thought about it, I think that we are frequently in moral dilemmas, especially in political voting situations. And a moral dilemma is just when no matter what you do, you will be doing something morally bad or morally wrong. You will be having some impact that is morally bad or wrong. And so, of course, when you're in that kind of situation, if your goal in life is to not do bad things, you're not going to know what to do. So my thought in that kind of situation is you have to make your goal something else. Your goal needs to be not to avoid doing bad, but you have to think about other types of goals that you might be pursuing.
And I think also too,
thanks, Luke. Great
thank
call.
you so much for that call. Thank you for listening. And if we had time, I would like to ask you also about hard decisions. What makes hard decisions difficult is that both solutions kind of stink. That's what makes a decision hard, is like there is a negative to both sides. Because if there was one clear right solution and one clear wrong solution, that's not a hard decision. A hard decision is when there's negatives on both sides.
Neither. I think the difficulty is that some people want a perfect solution or a perfect candidate. There will never, in the history of our country or anywhere in the world be a perfect candidate.
But great call. Thank you for calling. Call again. We can always use a professor of ethics.
Yes, Luke is fantastic. Let me tell you who else is perfect. Major Garrett.
Oh, my gosh.
Major Garrett, Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, next.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
At Odyssey, we believe in casting a wide net to create a diverse and inclusive workforce, as we value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be directly notified of our open positions. Again, that's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for our listeners, we invite you to visit odysseyinc.com/careers. There, you'll find an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
At 10:30, we have clouds and 65 degrees downtown of the Arch. Some of the stories we're following this morning: fears are mounting of a widespread humanitarian crisis in Gaza, and troubling news out of North Korea. They have fired an intercontinental ballistic missile, and there's been a ruling extending an mail-in voting deadline in Pennsylvania. Some traffic problems out there for you this morning. Eastbound 364 at Bennington Place. Watch out for a stalled vehicle. Westbound 70 at Lindbergh. There's moving road work, and that has the left lane down. Westbound 40 at Chesterfield Parkway. An accident has the 2 right lanes blocked. Our weather is sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Today, we'll see some partly sunny conditions later on this afternoon with highs of 68, but those temps will drop slowly throughout the afternoon. By the time it's time to trick or treat, we should see clear skies. Breezy conditions, though. Overnight lows right around 42 degrees, and for tomorrow, sunny and a nice day, 62 degrees. Right now, it's 63 in St. Peters, 65 in Florissant, and downtown at the Arch at 65. I'm Maria Aquina, in for Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers and important decisions should not be based solely on advertising.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th. Register now at DelHelpMeNow.com. That's DelHelpMeNow.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. DelHelpMeNow.com. Code 2024.
You love your city, but let's be honest, the commute, not so much. That's where the free Odyssey app can help. Download the app and follow your local news station so you can get the latest traffic reports or find if your train is on time before you walk out your door. Knowing all this gives you time to think about the essential things like, do I have time to get coffee? Download the free Odyssey app and search your local news station. That's AUDACY.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. That's my friends Mark and Neil Gelman at thegelmanteam.com.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Supporting your nutrition should be easy. That's why we created the Neovitin Women's Multivitamin monthly subscription. Get your daily Neovitin Women's Multivitamin delivered directly to your door every month. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time with no long-term obligations. With B vitamins to support energy, vitamin D for bone support, and our physician-formulated proprietary blend, Neovitin Women's Multivitamin is here to support your nutrition every day. Start supporting your nutrition and sign up for a monthly Neovitin Women's Multivitamin subscription today at neovitin.com.
Did you know that now is the best time to top dress your lawn? St. Louis Composting has compost specifically created for top dressing. To learn more, visit stlcompost.com. That's stlcompost.com.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Bernie Nicholas gets the final word during Sports on a Sunday morning. This Sunday at 11:45 on KMOX.
But now I smell the rain, and with it pain, and it's heading my way.
Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji on KMOX. Man, I was waiting for it to. There it is. There you go. On Thursday mornings, just after the 10:30 news, every week we talk to our guy, Chief Washington Correspondent for CBS News. His book is The Big Truth: Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie. It's a good read, especially just a few days leading up to the election. Also, a couple of podcasts. You've got one called The Agent of Betrayal, also The Takeout. Major Garrett is with us on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Good morning, Major.
Good morning, everyone.
5 days out. How are we feeling?
So I just got to New York. I'll be here until Friday of next week, so all through next week, whatever it brings. We start rehearsals. All the networks do this just to get everyone on their marks, get everyone a sense of how the evening is going to go. I have a lot of work practicing on the touch screen because I'll be with my colleague, the head of our Surveys and Elections Division, Anthony Salvanto, explaining which states were won by which candidate and why, and which counties mattered most. And that touchscreen work takes a bit of my time. I'm pretty good at it, but you can always get better at it. So I'll be working on that. And look, I feel great. The country is anxious. There's no question about that. A lot's riding on this election. There's a lot of worry, I think, about what will immediately precede the election and what will immediately follow the election. And that worry is justified. We need to be calm. We need to respect the results. We need to watch as the results come in. And we need not to prejudge the outcome. All those things, if we can do those things, which we until recently have had a pretty good history of doing in this country, we'll be in good shape.
Major, when you look at the past few days, does either the Tony Hinchcliffe, Madison Square Gardens, garbage Puerto Rico comment move the needle, or does Joe Biden's garbage comment about Trump supporters move the needle? Either one of those?
Sure. And the only question is, which moves it more? And the Trump campaign distanced itself and went through a lot of effort on Monday and Tuesday to try to recharacterize or recontextualize or try to move beyond it. And then were given a gift by President Biden, and which they latched onto to try to shift the momentum and create a circuit breaker in the momentum created by the vice president's remarks to a crowd of more than 70,000 people at the Ellipse in downtown Washington, D.C. So I've talked to people in Pennsylvania, Republicans and Democrats, who believe the Tony Hinchcliffe quote unquote joke, not just that one, but a lot of the other things that passed as jokes at Madison Square Garden, but were not funny at all. References to African Americans carving up watermelons at Halloween is another example. Did not land well and resonate and offend people because they are dark, not funny, racially edgy, if not blatantly racist jokes. And they are remembered by people who otherwise would not be engaged at that level of this campaign. And they could be worth some number of thousands of votes in Pennsylvania. 7% of registered voters in Pennsylvania are Latino. I've talked to Democrats who believe there could be 5,000 to 10,000 votes in the Puerto Rican community that might be swayed by that event alone. Well, 5,000 or 10,000 could be the deciding portion of a narrow margin of victory for Kamala Harris or for Donald Trump in Pennsylvania. So yeah, it matters. But one thing I want to point out to everyone, we are in a stage of our politics now where there is a conversation that goes on in get out the vote efforts, which means people knock on doors, phone call you, text you. And those are the most effective. Those are the most important. Those are the ones that actually move people who are persuadable to the polls so their vote can be cast, counted, and their voice heard. Then right now in our politics, are battles of memes on social media that create a tremendous amount of look-in interest, but in the end may not move many voters. And so you have to understand that there are two things happening. There is a quiet ground game of persuasion, motivation, activation, and bringing people to the polls or getting them so motivated that they get themselves to the polls. And then this sort of noisy clash of memes on social media that catch a lot of attention, catch a lot of eyeballs, get a lot of tongues wagging, but in the end, may do nothing more than that.
As we look at some of these counties that are going to be hugely important, we've already seen the former president calling out counties in Pennsylvania, saying that there's massive fraud already going on. And election officials, I believe the one in, it's escaping me now, but there is, that's it, who is not outright saying, yes, we're going to certify the results as soon as they're in. He's sort of tiptoed around that. Should we have concerns about election officials in some of the swing states not certifying these results?
So in a general sense, yes, because that possibility has been injected into the process. But every state has a method in which county officials are answerable to the state and their procedures are answerable. And just because you look at the results and say, I'm not so sure I'm satisfied with the results, that is not a basis in any jurisdiction in our country to say I'm not going to certify, okay? And if there are legal challenges brought because there are legitimate issues, courts will intervene, courts will weigh the evidence as they did in 2020 and render a verdict. That can be part of the process, evaluating an election. We have methods to do that. Everyone is entitled to pursue those methods. I've never argued anything else. If there is a legal dispute, bring evidence, allow it to be reviewed, compared with county law or state law. If it conforms with it and the results are valid, then you have a court say everything is fine. If they don't, then the court will find ways to intervene. We have a history of this in our country. We know how to do this. But just saying, wait a minute, my internal weather vane tells me that I'm not so satisfied enough to certify. No one has that authority. No one has that authority. And what happened in Bucks County was a miscommunication. It was resolved on the spot. Then, to make extra sure and to grab lots of headlines, the Republicans filed a lawsuit. That lawsuit was brought before a jurisdiction. The jurisdiction said, you know what, this is an easy fix, super easy fix. We'll just add 2 more days, clear up all confusion. And that's what happened. The process has worked. It's stress tested all the time. But that doesn't mean it's fraudulent. It just means the process is being tested. And there are lots of people looking at the process who can make judgments and iron things out. And if we keep calm about that process of ironing things out and don't jump to conclusions and don't throw and hurl baseless allegations meant only to create confusion and doubt when none actually exists, we'll be fine.
Major, this is a bit of a shift, but recently Trump on a Truth Social had criticized Mitch McConnell, and I think saying that he was a dud or hadn't gotten anything done. 2 years ago, he called Mitch McConnell a loser. And think what you will of Mitch McConnell. Can you explain a little bit the significance of McConnell's role in making sure that Trump's agenda was executed, whether it be legislation or even Supreme Court judges like Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett? Because right now, Trump is positing it as if McConnell's a loser. And McConnell played a role in Trump's presidency.
McConnell's role in Trump's presidency is more significant than any other legislative figure in the Republican Party. Full stop. Speakers have come and gone on the House Republican side. We know this. Mitch McConnell made sure that the reconciliation bill, that's the means by which you pass a tax cut, got through, got that achieved. In that was lots of other changes that Trump supported. One of them was opening up the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge for oil and gas exploration. Trump talks about it all that time. Wouldn't have happened without that reconciliation bill and Mitch McConnell's maneuvering to get that in there. Trump doesn't like McConnell because McConnell criticizes Trump openly, and there's a new book out in which that happens a lot. But none of the Supreme Court justices, not one of them, get through without Mitch McConnell not only massaging and maneuvering, but leading all of his fellow Republicans in that direction, especially in the Brett Kavanaugh case. Brett Kavanaugh is not confirmed and placed on the Supreme Court by advise and consent processes in the United States Senate without Mitch McConnell. It just doesn't happen. No other Senate Republican leader could have held that conference together under the withering criticism that Brett Kavanaugh was subjected to in that confirmation hearing. McConnell rode that out, had Republicans ride that out, and there are 3 Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court. Trump's biggest legacy, whether he's a one-term president or not, the biggest legacy he will leave the country are those 3 Supreme Court justices. No question about it. And the other thing that Trump really, really owes McConnell, though he will never acknowledge it, McConnell looked at the impeachment process after January 6th and had a very big and important choice to make. Do I let Republicans vote their conscience? Because many of them told us afterwards that they were intending or would have, if been given latitude, to vote to convict Trump. McConnell said, no, don't do that. Leave it to the public. Don't make him a martyr. Don't put his political future in our Senate Republican hands. McConnell helped suppress any desire among Senate Republicans to convict Trump, because if they had, he would not have been able to run for president again. Okay? All those things McConnell did for Trump. And all I would say is you have a sense of who Trump is and what his orientation is to politics, to power, and loyalty in what he says about McConnell.
Major Garrett, I am very happy to learn that you are on the map on Tuesday because I love the interactive map so much. And I'm of all people in the world that I could watch on the map, I'm so glad it's you. I'm not kidding you. It's my favorite thing.
It really is, Major. He loves it so much. He's thrilled to death that you'll be there.
Yeah.
You are his Taylor Swift.
I couldn't have asked for anybody better.
I hope I don't let you down. I will do my very best.
Oh, you couldn't possibly, even if you tried. Tell us who was on the takeout this week.
So what I wanted to do is a show that could help listeners cut through the noise, because the polls tell us a certain amount of information, but not very much that's really helpful, because we don't know what the underlying modeling assumptions are by who's going to turn out. But we do have some interesting information that's actually measurable right now, right in front of us. It's registration numbers since 2022, and especially since Kamala Harris became the presumptive, then the full-on Democratic nominee. There's lots of interesting data there. Also, we have early vote numbers in all the states, and particularly the closely contested so-called battleground states. So I have a guy on the show named Tom Bonnier. He's not a household name, but he is in Washington. He's a Democrat. We acknowledge that straight up, but he is a data specialist. And he only talks about the data from a data specialist point of view. And I ask him, what's the best case for Trump? What's the best case for Harris? What do you see in these numbers that the average person could look at themselves and remember on election night? That's the point of the show. Tom Bonnier is our guest. I hope people find it interesting and helpful.
Major Garrett, we will talk to you next Thursday, and we're all hoping that we have results.
Wow.
I'm guessing that we will not know who the president is on Thursday when we start the day. You think so?
We will. I do.
Okay.
I do.
So this is not going to be like a Saturday we find out kind of thing.
No. So real quickly, Michigan will move its votes much faster because they can pre-process mail balloting. All the big counties in Pennsylvania have new machines. They can move the paper ballots through faster. Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin will all be on the board quickly. As the night progresses, Arizona and Nevada we'll have an answer by Thursday morning.
Awesome.
Wow.
Thanks, Major.
You got it.
That is Major Garrett with us every Thursday after 10:30 on KMOX.
Okay, if you are going to go vote on November 5th are voting early. As we mentioned, it's a super long ballot, and the font can be kind of small. You got to be able to see the circles. That's right. So before you go vote, you absolutely need to see the Ophthalmology Associates. Well, at least if you haven't been there recently, maybe you need to check up on your eye health or the rest of your health, because did you know that an annual eye exam can actually save your life? So it sounds kind of like hyperbole, but it's not. Literally, health conditions can be discovered early and therefore be more treatable with a complete eye exam. You might have high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, thyroid disorder, skin cancer, leukemia and lymphoma, Parkinson's, MS. A full eye exam can help identify those diseases early so that you can get treatment. It's a full body exam in a lot of ways. Call 314-966-5000, 314-966-5000, or yourEyeDoc.com.
This is a rare opportunity from Lombardo Homes. For a limited time, we're offering an exclusive incentive. Get a free finished lower level rec room or up to $25,000 toward free design studio options when you build with us. Lombardo Homes never runs incentives like this, so the time to buy is now. Whether you're dreaming of a lower level rec room, customized kitchen, or upgraded primary bathroom, you'll never get a better deal than today. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Restrictions apply. Visit LombardoHomes.com or see your sales manager for details. Lombardo Homes, your vision, our mission.
We can get more sleep, we can get more sun, and we can get more exercise. But the one thing that we can't get more of is time. It's time to eliminate the one phrase that could be holding you back from reaching your retirement goals. I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's time to pick up the phone and make the call to Gary Goldberg and the team at Financial and Tax Strategies. 618-361-4232 or online at checkwithgary.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial Inc., an SEC registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Gary Goldberg, NPN number 918615.
Can't make it to Kansas City for the big game? No problem.
Kelsey, 3-point stance to the left. Here comes an inside blitz.
Experience every Kansas City Chiefs game like you're in the front row at Ballpark Village.
25-20, downfield block, 10, 5.
Join fellow KMOX Chief fans on game day and feel the roar of the crowd right here in St. Louis.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
Chiefs Watch Parties, presented by Jim Beam.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office.
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
Count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Attention, Missouri Republicans. Donald Trump Jr. has endorsed Amendment 2. Don Jr. calls legalizing sports betting a no-brainer for Missouri. Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 will give Missouri fans the freedom to bet too. And that means our money will stay at home instead of going to other states. Legalizing sports betting will generate more than $100 million for Missouri schools without raising property taxes. That's why our Republican candidate for governor, Mike Kehoe, is joining Donald Trump Jr. in supporting Amendment 2, generating more money for Missouri schools without raising property taxes, giving Missouri fans the freedom to bet on games. Donald Trump Jr. has it right. Voting yes on Amendment 2 is a no-brainer for Missouri Republicans. Join Don Jr. in saying yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Hi, this is Debbie Monterey. Join me and my co-host Kevin Short of Clayton Capital Partners for the Business of Family Business, Saturdays at 2.
Join us. We interview many St. Louis business owners and families and learn a lot and have a good time.
So many interesting stories of passing a business along to the next generation or not, and some great tips as well. It's the Business of Family Business here on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX, Saturdays at 2.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
I'm Scott Jagow. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy?
Hey, Ron, did you see this? The line at the Lewis and Clark branch in Moline Acres for voting is so low. It is my favorite line to watch.
I think you should. I think you should move into the Moline Acres.
I think I might.
Place.
I voted
you
there
talk
last.
About it all the time.
I voted there last Saturday. It was like a 7-minute wait, 6 minutes tops. A lot of times there's no line. My brother-in-law and sister voted there yesterday at my recommendation, and I'm just telling you, if you're like, oh man, I don't want to vote, I don't want to wait in line. First of all, vote no matter what. But second of all, both the North County Recreation Complex and the Lewis and Clark Library branch, which was my early voting station, have either like just a handful of people in line. Sometimes there's no line. It's such a beautiful, great place to vote. A lot of windows.
Oh, yeah.
I like a good, bright library.
I do too.
I like a lot of windows in a library.
How could you not? Did you see, Amy, that with the conclusion of the World Series and the Dodgers winning last night, the odds, the futures, they call them futures. And you need to know this because Amendment 2 is on the ballot and it's going to win. And with that, sports betting will be legal in the state of Missouri, at least I think. You're going to need to know what futures are. Futures are betting ahead of time what you think will happen in a league. So, like, who do you think the World Series winner for next year is going to be? That's called a future.
Is it all betting in the future? Why would you bet the past?
Future, it's more of like, yes, but it's more of a...
all betting's in the future.
Yeah, but it's more of like, I don't know. I don't have time to explain this to you. But the Cardinals...
Futures when you bet on what's going to happen, not what just happened.
The Cardinals are plus 6,000 to win the World Series. So that's not very good odds. So
because you want a low number.
You want a much lower number. You want a minus if you can get it, but you can't get it at this point of the year. The Dodgers are plus 400. They are the favorites to win the World Series again next year. The Yankees at plus 750. The Dodgers or the Cardinals are way down the list. But I think we kind of expected that anyway, right? And this is according to FanDuel. We kind of expected them to not be a favorite next year or anything close.
I'm going to put some money on them.
You know what that means?
What?
So if you do put 100 down, you're going to get a lot of money back. That's what that means.
Are you not doing the math because you're not good at it?
600 back is what that means.
Okay.
That's Amy Marks Scores. I'm Chris Ranji. Did you know it's Halloween? It is. And the homeowner of a Halloween haunt that is happening right now is raising money for ALS Association. David Schwanter is with us when we come back, Schwantner, and he will join us when we come back on KMOX.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448.
At 11 o'clock, we have clouds and 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Maria Kina, in for Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. Crowds gathering at a bakery in southern Gaza as Israel's offensive against Hamas continues. This after Israel voted to ban contact with the humanitarian relief agency, UNRWA, which could severely hamper efforts to deliver to Gaza. A State Department spokesperson earlier this week said that the Biden administration is extremely concerned about the move to ban UNRWA as fears mount of a widespread humanitarian catastrophe in the Gaza Strip. North Korea says it tested an intercontinental ballistic missile today, their farthest reaching and most advanced missile yet.
Veteran national security analyst Joe Cirincione says the missile can reach anywhere in the U.S. from Anchorage to Key West.
Not the only missile that North Korea has that can do this, but it's the longest reach that they've had so far.
And the timing right before the election is no coincidence.
Kim Jong-un loves to poke the U.S. in the eye with a stick. This is a clear intent to send a message that can hit the United States with nuclear weapons if they want.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
A judge ruled to extend the mail-in voting deadline in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, after Republican lawsuits. CBS Philadelphia reporter Jan Carbio has the details.
The move to extend the mail-in deadline comes after the campaigns for former President Donald Trump and Republican Senate candidate Dave McCormick sued Bucks County for voter suppression. They claimed people were turned away before the original 5 p.m. deadline on Tuesday and were not allowed to complete the whole voting process at the Bucks County Administration Building. Bucks County officials claimed they followed the state's law, but the judge found they violated Pennsylvania election code.
A judge will hear a lawsuit tomorrow against the St. Charles County Elections Director Kurt Barr, accusing him of refusing to allow election watchers at the polls during early voting. Travis Hines, a St. Charles County Republican Central Committee member, filed the lawsuit. He tells 97.1.
This affects the Democrat Party, and who, if there are any third parties on a ballot, it affects everyone. So this is not a partisan thing. This is about the people in our election.
Despite the legal battle, both polling locations will remain open today in St. Charles County. And Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft tells KMOX his office prepares for violence and disruption at the polls for every election, but he does not foresee any problems this coming Tuesday.
Thankfully, living in Missouri, living in the Midwest, we just haven't seen the problems that we've seen elsewhere around the country. So that's one of those things that I would put under the heading of I worry about it so the people of the state don't have to.
Ashcroft says local election authorities are making sure that polling locations are secure by working with police. So if something does happen, they are ready to act. From the KMOX business desk, Ford is cutting production of a well-known electric pickup truck WWJ auto reporter Jeff Gilbert explains from Detroit.
The plant that makes the electric F-150 Lightning pickup will be idle from November 15th until January 6th as Ford adjusts production for what it calls an optimal mix of sales growth and profitability. Automotive News reporter Mike Martinez says it's all about sales.
It's really just the latest sign of less than expected demand for a product that Ford really believed would change the market.
Ford's electric vehicle business has been posting billions in losses. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Detroit.
At 11:04, a check of the Dow from Stifel at this hour. It's down 331 points to 41,810. A check of traffic westbound 40th Chesterfield Parkway. Still stop and go traffic. That's all due to that earlier accident. Still blocking the right lane there. Expect delays, according to MoDOT, up to 20 minutes. Weather is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical.
Winds turning to the northwest, the rain and the thunderstorms gone. Partly sunny skies going through our Halloween afternoon. 68 for the high, but temperatures will be slowly dropping most of the afternoon. Trick or treat time. Clear skies, breezy, 49, 50. Clear and cold overnight, 42. Friday is sunny skies all day long. Cold start. Kind of a cool day, 62. Saturday looks pretty, partly sunny, 66. More rain and thunderstorms arriving late Saturday night, Sunday, and lasting into Monday and Tuesday of next week. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
59 in St. Peter's, at 63 in Florissant, and 63 downtown at the Arch. I'm Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
In the 70s, baseball player Jerry Kelly decided to do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
This year, the company Jerry started decided we'd do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, and Electrical.
And electrical.
JerryKelly.com.
The Chris and Amy Show, sponsored by St. Louis University Billikens Basketball. Choose your seats for 5 or more games and receive savings off the single game ticket price with a 5-game mini pack starting at $75. Purchase now at slubillikens.com.
It is October 31st. That means it is Halloween. It also means that people around the St. Louis area, around the country, everywhere, they are decorating for Halloween, but some people are doing it with more of a purpose, including our next guest on the Quiver River Electric guest line. This is a homeowner in Oakville, and his Halloween haunt at his home is raising money for the ALS Association. David Schwantner is with us now on KMOX. David, good morning to you. How are you?
Doing good, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing okay. So I've seen your display. I've seen your house. Apparently you work on it. What, like you put about 60 hours into it? Is that correct?
That's about what I said. It's just this year after she got a hold of me, I started earlier, and I have no idea. It's just, whenever I have time.
It looks like more than 60 hours of work because
it does.
It takes a long time to put up displays in your yard. And some of your artifacts and displays, the pieces, they're pretty terrifying. It's not for the faint of heart.
Right. And I've handmade a lot of it. So that's what I don't include most of the time.
Wow.
So in putting this all together, you love Halloween, you love decorating for it, and you are doing it for a purpose, which we'll get to in just a moment here. But in putting together the display, it is clearly a love for you. Was there a point where you realized, this isn't just for me anymore because there are people coming to the neighborhood to see my house?
We moved to Oakville 4 years ago. We used to do this down in Afton, and we moved out here. And the first 2 years were kind of like, Then last year, my kids they're 10 and 13, my younger ones, and we were down the subdivision, and we were trick or treating, and all of a sudden there's a gob of people walking through, and we're like, sorry guys.
So how do your neighbors feel about it?
For the most part, they love it. They encourage it.
Have you, because of how you go all out in decorating, have you inspired them to try and match you?
They all say they're too busy to do it.
So no.
Okay.
Listen, I would be inspired, but I am pretty busy right now.
Right. Oh, I am too, because I do things on the side and I have a full-time job, but somehow I do it.
Yeah.
Plus, I have
Oh, sorry. Plus, you have what?
my two teenage kids. They help me out a lot. They're already dying me off and saying what they're taking with them.
They're not supposed to do that
like
now.
any good. Well, listen. There was a time when my grandparents grandparents can sometimes tend to be a little morbid. Speaking of Halloween, and they're like, well, I taped my do not resuscitate to the refrigerator and you can start picking things out. And we're like, all right, do you have a Post-it notepad? And then I remember putting Post-it notes on things. And they were totally fine at the time, but it is a little grim.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what happens. So we talked about like how many hours do you spend putting this up? But I guess another way to phrase that would be, when do you start decorating the yard? Is it September, or is it just like you have one crazy week where you throw all of your time into it?
Well, I don't take a week off because that'd be like taking a week away from my family.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like this year I started, I believe, September 10th. Usually it was supposed to be, the rule in my house was the last weekend of September I could start.
But then you said, look, man, this display is too good. I need to put more time in it. And then everybody agreed.
Well, that and the lady from the Post-Dispatch contacted me, and she's like, I'm like, crap, I got to put stuff up so she can come out and stuff.
All right, next year we're going to get a hold of you in early September, which means you're going to have to start decorating in August.
That's right.
Sounds good. So, no, not really.
So you do this because your mom had ALS, and as a tribute to her, you are raising money for it. Is that the reason you started decorating, or is it just kind of, helped you take it to the next level?
Well, back when we were kids, we started decorating like this. We actually used to do a maze in South City, and which is funny because people are becoming friends with me, and they're like, I remember going through your yard. I'm like, okay, I don't know who you are. But it grew up I believe in 2016, my mom brought all her stuff over, which wasn't a whole lot. And then we always just had a great time doing Halloween. And then she passed away. I said it wrong in the paper. It was 2018, not 2019. Thank God she didn't go through COVID.
Yeah.
So ever since then, it just the ALS thing pushes me. And I've always wanted to do more for it because not many people speak up for it. Like there was Lou Gehrig, and a lady came up to me yesterday and said, I just thought Lou Gehrig was 70 years old because he died from ALS. That's as a kid, you thought things like that, and to understand more of the disease, like there's a lot of people in their 30s, 40s, 50s getting it. And it's a horrible disease. My mom went quick. She was the summer of 2017, we were out at Six Flags and she rode every roller coaster. And then in March, she passed away.
Oh boy.
It is such a cruel disease. As you mentioned, if some people aren't as familiar with it, you slowly start to lose control of your voluntary muscles, your voluntary muscle functions. And so we don't think of breathing as a voluntary muscle function, but it is, because you can like hold your breath. You can stop it. You can't stop your heart, but you can stop breathing. And so again, this is so cruel, but in ALS, you will either suffocate or starve to death because you can't swallow, you can't eat, you can't breathe. And you slowly see your body change. Your brain is totally fine. You're still yourself, but your body looks so different on the outside as you start to suffer more loss of muscle function. And so it's so important to bring awareness to ALS. And you mentioned that you're doing this to raise awareness and also to raise money. How can people donate?
Well, right now they can go to our Facebook page, which is Haunting at Oakville Manor. Sorry, I lost my mind. Or you can just go to ALS's website and you can donate to them. Or you can come by and say hi.
So what was the first way? Haunting at, say that again?
It's on Facebook, Haunting at Oakville Manor.
Okay, on Facebook, Haunting at Oakville Manor. You can donate there or just go to the ALS website and donate there. Well,
Yeah.
David, we think this is a really great thing that you're doing. And this is, hey, it's Halloween day. So I know it's kind of like Super Bowl for you. Enjoy it. Enjoy
you.
all the visitors you're going to get. And you can apologize to the neighbors later.
Exactly. They love it.
Thank you, David.
Have a great one, guys.
You too. David Schwantner is the homeowner of the Oakville Manor, which you can see in Oakville. And again, raising money for ALS.
Very, very cool. And Ronj, we do have breaking news from St. Louis City SC.
Oh, we have it now.
St. Louis City SC will welcome soccer fans in 2025 to
Chris and Amy Park.
So close. Energizer Park.
Energizer, like the battery?
Like the battery, like the bunny.
That's not bad.
Energizer Park. So this is from a press release from St. Louis City SC. It is Energizer Park. They've got City Park, which is now Energizer Park with the little bunny and the drums. You know that guy.
Of course I know the bunny.
Energizer Park, baby.
Oh, so our City SC, our football club, our soccer club will be playing at Energizer Park next year. That's fun.
Get used to it.
Wait, does it start immediately? When do they
It does. It says in 2025.
Okay.
So,
yeah, because they got to get the signage up and do all that. All right. So City Park is now Energizer Park.
Yep.
Awesome.
And
yeah.
the stadium's new website is energizerpark.com.
Very cool. This was after Centene had their deal with City Park. It was going to be named Centene Park, I suppose, and then they pulled out. So great, Energizer Park. I'm
Energizer Park it is.
So I don't know if you watched the World Series last night.
Oh,
a lot of people did because a lot of people have been watching this World Series. The Yankees were on the verge of forcing Game 6, and then they went all 2006 Detroit Tigers, and they peed themselves. We're going to talk about that and the Dodgers win when we come back. Also, don't forget Bernie Miklasz will join the show at 11:30, right after the news on KMOX.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-221-6319. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now. 800-221-6319.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-221-6319. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-221-6319, or go to oxcarcare.com.
The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to the practice. He joins Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brasati, and Royer as the Doctors' Doctors. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are ignoring kitchen table issues. Liberals are fighting to defund the police, indoctrinate kids, open the border, and put boys in girls' sports. I'm Ann Wagner. The people I talk to know better. Let's work for what matters most. Lower costs, parents' rights, and safer streets.
Ann Wagner is working for common sense solutions to the problems you face. She's challenged the big government machine in Washington and delivered a tax cut for middle-class families. Ann has stood with parents to defend their right to make decisions on the upbringing, education, and care of their children, protecting our kids from radical leftist indoctrination. And as crime rises, Ann has worked to protect our safety by fighting efforts to defund our brave police.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message. So pull up a chair, and together we'll turn the tables on Washington.
Fighting for your family. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
First time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all of fatherhood's first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Woohoo! Another girls' night out. I'm so stressed from shopping. I couldn't find anything. Have you tried shopping jewelry television? JTV? I don't know. Everyone in my family is so different. JTV has thousands of jewelry styles, artisan, diamonds, pearls, colored gemstones, watches, even gift sets. I shop on TV and online.
New JTV customers save up to $40 when you shop jtv.com/radio.
Now, can you relax? Yes. Another round? Yes.
Diverse opinions, mutual respect. That's the politics you'll find at KMOX. Your connection to St. Louis and the region.
Here's the 1-2 pitch from Buehler. Got him swinging! That's it! It's a World Series win for LA! They've done it! They finished the job and give Los Angeles the parade it's been waiting for!
KLAC with the highlights. The Dodgers have won their 8th World Series title, and they get it done at Yankee Stadium last night. So the baseball season now, I know for us Cardinals fans, it's been over for a while, but it is over. Baseball is over. And I would like to talk now about how the New York Yankees have prevented me from enjoying the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I feel like they've done this to me personally.
Okay.
All I asked for, Amy, and you were here for it, get me to a game 6. Now, no team ever, as you pointed out yesterday, no team ever had taken a 3-0 series lead in a World Series and allowed the series then to go on to game 6. They either would end in a sweep or they would end in 5 games. That was in the 20, how many times?
So
did that happen?
25 times the World Series went to a 3-0. A team had a 3-0 lead. 21 times it ended in a sweep. The other 4 times it ended in game 5. And now it happened again.
The Yankees had a 5-0 lead in the game, and then stuff like this started to happen.
With a heating up Judge, who settles under this ball, but then drops it. Can Hernandez get to the bag before the throw? He does. On a routine play, Aaron Judge just flubs it in center field, and the Dodgers catch a huge break right there.
Sidebar, guess who was at the plate? Guess who was the one who hit that ball? Tommy Edman.
Tommy Edman was at the plate.
Tommy Edman hit that ball, which was an easy out.
Can
and
we
Judge
just say,
dropped it.
Can we just say moments before that, Aaron Judge, right? He started to redeem himself with his 2-run homer. Then he made that great catch for an out at the wall, and the crowd was chanting MVP, MVP.
Yeah, well,
I thought, here comes Aaron Judge. By golly, he's done it. He's turned it around.
Well, he's probably going to be MVP of the league, but he had a pretty bad World Series in postseason.
Yeah,
he was struggling, but it turned into, and I made this joke, like the 2006 Detroit Tigers. You remember that World Series where they just started throwing the ball around the field?
Remember it? I was there.
I mean, the Cardinals were thank you. Cardinals were saying thank you for the gift. That 5th inning by the Dodgers, where they were up 5-0.
Oh my gosh! With all the momentum, with
Or it was
all
5-2.
the momentum.
They had a 5-0 lead. It was 5-2 by that inning, and then they just absolutely crapped it all away with bad defense. The Judge play, the play at shortstop where he tries to throw the ball to third and spikes it in the ground for some reason. And then Garrett Cole, who had been pitching lights out really prior to all of that, he forgets to cover first on what would have been the final out of the inning, and they still would have had the lead. They would have been up 5-2. So the inning started 5-0. It would have been 5-2 at the end of that, and then later they go on to lose it. It just an absolute meltdown for the ages.
Yeah.
In a World Series when you're fighting for your life. That's Amy, that is incredible. I'm watching that game happen last night. And I have no real rooting interest. I don't care for either of these teams. I'm glad they were in the World Series together. It was compelling because you had the two biggest markets going at it, two storied franchises. All I wanted was a Game 6.
Yeah.
And they deprived me of that, and I feel like they did it intentionally.
Okay, so I don't believe in jinxing things, but I kind of felt like I jinxed it because I did text you last night.
You did?
When the Yankees were up 5-0. And here's the thing. I
Well-
started to text and then I started to erase the text. Like, don't send this text. Don't jinx it. And I thought, Amy, you don't believe in jinxing things. You're not going to affect the players on the field. And I texted, dare I say ... there might be a Game 6 ?
Well, you said might. Might is not a definitive. That's not a declaration. What did I
No.
respond with?
You said, book it.
Book it like it's happening.
Yeah. Maybe you jinxed
I didn't
it.
even, with the way Cole was pitching, I didn't even think it was possible.
He was blowing batters away.
I didn't even think it was possible
So
for them to blow that.
af-
And they did it.
after the game, Garrett Cole said, this is like as bad as it gets. It's the worst feeling you can have. Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager, said, yeah, obviously it stings now, but this is going to sting forever.
Well, let's think about this. And I tweeted this last night that somehow that fifth inning by the Yankees kind of, sort of, not totally, but at least a little bit took the sting away from Sunday and the Bears just absolutely blowing it against Washington.
didn't.
Yeah, a little bit.
Come on.
Because
You're
it was
selfish.
No, that was an important game. That was an important game on Sunday. But it's the World Series. You can't. This is the worst possible time for that to happen when they are fighting for their lives, for them to go on and have an inning like that.
Unforced errors, just repeated unforced errors. You know, it wasn't that the Dodgers really took it to them in that inning.
No.
The Yankees handed it to them on a silver platter.
Yes, just absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Dodgers did take advantage of the opportunities given to them, but the Yankees gave them several opportunities extra. And I was thinking about this. We have been kind of lucky here.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we'd rather be in the World Series right now. I think any of us would take being in the World Series and blowing it in a spectacular fashion over not making it to the playoffs at all, right? We'd all take that. If you're a Cardinals fan,
I mean, it happened in 04.
Well, they didn't blow it.
But they never showed up. Can you not blow it if you can't show up?
What happened last night is worse than not showing up.
All right. Tyler Rosen over here. He's nodding in agreement. So you would rather not show up than show up and blow it?
I'd rather get blown out in a World Series. I'd rather get swept in a World Series
Yeah.
than have an opportunity to make it a series. Like, do something.
That's
You're
fair.
on the process of forcing a Game 6. And if you get to Game 6, anything can happen in the series.
Because in
And
04, we
blowing
can
it-
say what it wasn't meant to be.
Exactly.
This was meant to be. Game 6
Exactly.
was meant to be.
Would you say that too, Tyler?
Yeah, I'd say so, because if you get swept, you kind of have that definitive, all right, we were not better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other team was better.
There's no heartbreak in getting swept.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think there is
Yeah.
all kinds of heartbreak in being on the verge of winning a series or forcing a series to become a real series and real
Mhm.
competitive, and
Fair.
just crapping it all away. I don't know that you ever get over something like that.
I don't think you do.
Like I said on Sunday, I would rather the Bears have gotten blown out in Washington than lose the way they lost. Let us know what you think. you can leave us a voice message. We got pretty lucky. I can't recall. We've had bad losses, regular season losses. The Cardinals had a few of them this year, but they've not really, other than the Dankinger thing, but that wasn't their fault.
I didn't even know there was a game after that game. That's how much we focus on Don Dankinger. I meet Mason Jar from Kansas City. He's like, there was a game after that. I was like, what?
Yeah, there was.
I thought that was a series-ending call.
But we've been pretty lucky since then to not have a devastating game of that magnitude, I think. Let us know what you think. Voice messages on the Odyssey app. Feel free to send them to us. We're going to continue the conversation. Baseball, we will talk it over with Bernie Miklasz, who joins the show next on KMOX.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th. Register now at DelHelpMeNow.com. That's DelHelpMeNow.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. DelHelpMeNow.com. Code 2024.
It's a night to be entertained and inspired. The Musial Awards return to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 23rd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Musial Awards an event like no other. The Musial Awards, presented by Maryville University. Saturday, November 23rd. Tickets at MusialAwards.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
At 11:30, we have clouds and 66 degrees downtown at the Arch. Here are some of the stories we're following. With Election Day approaching, election officials are stepping up security efforts at local precincts. And CBS News correspondent Jim Kursula reports on some progress in flood-decimated East Tennessee. Crews are still working with that accident right now for westbound 40 drivers at Chesterfield Parkway. It's been out there for some time. It happened apparently at about just before 9 this morning. That right lane is still blocked. The delay is getting a little bit better. Right now they're saying about 10 minutes. No word, though, on when they should have that cleared. Our forecast: windy, partly sunny by this afternoon, 68 degrees, but the temps will slowly drop this afternoon. For trick-or-treating, tonight it should be breezy, clear, and an overnight low of 42 degrees, and for tomorrow, sunny with highs of 62. Right now, it's 59 in St. Peters, 66 in Florissant, and 66 downtown of the Arch. I'm Maria Aquina, in for Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-5165. 800-499-5165. 800-499-5165.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Hi, this is Johnny Rabbit. Isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? Midwest Money Company is buying your valuables. Midwest Money Company is buying gold, silver, coins, currency, diamonds, plus gold and silver jewelry. Call Midwest Money Company, 481-0770. That's 481-0770. Or stop by Midwest Money, 5900 Hampton, for a free appraisal.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Podcast The Bernie Miklasz Show today on the free Odyssey app and follow to receive Bernie's daily take on Cardinals, Blues, or whatever else is in the news. AUDACY.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
The highlights courtesy of Fox. Yes, the Dodgers have won the World Series, and they did so thanks to a lot of help from the New York Yankees, who were atrocious in the 5th inning, one of the worst defensive innings in the history of baseball, especially with the stakes being what they were. To talk about it with us is Bernie Miklasz, who is always with us, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, and he joins the show now. Bernie, what in the hell was that 5th inning?
I just sat there and watched it, and I wasn't sure what I was looking at, that so many of those things happened one on top of the other. I mean, they were, sloppy physically. They were inattentive. Something as simple that teams work on throughout all spring training. Pitcher covering first on a ground ball to the first baseman. It might be tough for the first baseman to get to the bag. And Garrett Cole's a really smart guy, but I think he was so tuckered out at that time because of such a long inning. He probably just wasn't thinking straight. So no, the Yankees lost game 1 because of 2 defensive miscues, basically. And then, it's fitting they lose the final game of the World Series with just a dumpster fire of a defensive inning there in the 5th. But we have to wonder really about how good are the Yankees really? Now, I know that sounds crazy. They got to the World Series. Can I throw something at you, though?
Yeah.
I find this interesting because everyone's saying, well, you got to spend a lot of money to win a World Series. Okay, the Dodgers were the number 3 payroll this year, and good for them. We'll get back to that. But the Yankees are about as fraudulent as it gets. And here's what I'm talking about. This season, they were 31-9 against American League Central teams. That includes the postseason. That's a 7.75 winning percentage, 31-9 against a weak division. And they were only 6 games above 500 against everyone else. They have played 7 rounds against the American League Central in the playoffs since 2017, and they've won all 7. But in the other 8 rounds they've played against other divisions, teams from other divisions, they've won only 1 of 8. And that was a 1-game wild card over the A's in 2018. Is that a counterfeit team or not? I mean, they're spending all this money, but the money's real, but the team is counterfeit. I mean, if it wasn't for the AL Central, they wouldn't even get to the World Series. So it's fascinating how these things play out to me.
It was kind of true of Cleveland getting into the playoffs and the Royals getting in, that if they weren't playing in that division, they don't, because the Sox were so terrible. But I couldn't help but watch that inning last night, and I don't know, it made me think of the 2006 Tigers, who helped us out a little bit.
No doubt about it. They were really sloppy, and at least 2 of those Cardinals wins, surfaced or were completed with some help from the Tigers, just throwing the ball all over the place, and their pitchers especially could not field during that World Series. You need some luck sometime, right?
Yeah. Well, and Bernie, we were talking about how devastating this is for the Yankees. Aaron Boone said, obviously, it stings now. This will sting forever. They're calling it a nightmare, a horror show. And we went back to 2004 when the Boston Red Sox won the World Series, because Ranj and Tyler Rosen over here were saying that it's worse to blow it than it is to not show up. And I kind of agree. When you go back to 2004, I would rather be the St. Louis Cardinals, who never showed up for the World Series, than the New York Yankees, who blew a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like talking to Tony La Russa, he's always said that like that 2004 World Series was one that will always sting, will always hurt him, because he didn't think that America saw like who the Cardinals really were. You know, they played nothing like they really were when they won 105 games all season, regular season. So that one's, I'm only giving like one example of like the opposite way. A guy like Tony La Russa, you would think that maybe, you know, he gets his heart broken. That would stick out, but he actually clings to that World Series sweep by the Red Sox because his team, to use your words, you know, his team didn't show up. Not that they didn't care. They just did not perform, you know, and it was very unusual. But I don't know. I mean, I think depending on how you lose it, I'm trying to put myself in that situation. I think I would prefer not to get crushed in terms of like letting a couple games slip away where you had it in your hands and you blew it, you know.
I honestly, in sports, think there's nothing worse than having a win and then just pissing it away. I think it is absolutely the worst.
Yeah, I agree.
Most.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. But you know, even though Tony La Russa feels otherwise,
well, because
it's interesting.
That 04 team too, not to belabor the point, but having talked to tons of Cardinals, you know, alumni, and you can say, what's the best team you've ever seen or the best team you've ever played on? And they always go back to that 04 team, just how stacked that team was.
And the problem they had was the offense, and you had all these incredible hitters. And after game one, which was like a 9-8 game, the Cardinals just didn't score. It was an absolute no-show. But the Cardinals starting pitching went into that World Series really beat up. I mean, really worn down. So they were kind of up against it anyway. And if you believe in something like momentum, you know, I don't know how much I would buy into team of destiny stuff, but if there is such a thing, the Red Sox certainly qualified in 2004 after what they did in the American League Championship Series to the Yankees.
Talking with Bernie Miklasz here on KMOX. We have a couple of texters wanting to know if you think Aaron Boone gets fired now.
Wow, that's a good question. I'll say this. I was reading all the coverage out of New York, and I was, you know, even reading our friend Ken Rosenthal, and everyone's saying the same thing. There's the Yankees were sloppy all season. They were the worst base running team based on the metrics in the entire major leagues. Their defense was not reliable at all. They spent a lot of time kicking balls around and throwing balls into the stands. And that's been a running theme with some of the baseball writers in New York, that this is a really disheveled type of team, despite their great offense and despite they have some really good starting pitchers. Fundamentally, or just in terms of being reliable, they're inattentive to detail. They make silly mistakes that you really shouldn't make. I mean, yeah, everyone's going to make them sometime, but it's a team that managed to beat itself a lot. And after that display, I really have to wonder what would be the point of sticking with Aaron Boone. It's not like he just showed up. I think he's been the manager since 2017, and there's been one playoff failure after another. But you get on the stage like that, and your team cannot execute the basic fundamentals, and your team cannot play defense. You blow up, whether it's mentally, physically, you just blow up under pressure. And when I look at Aaron Boone, this is probably unfair because you can't judge by what you see on TV or whatever. Doesn't Aaron Boone look like he's just a miserable guy because the pressure it just eats him up. You know, you look over there and you're like, oh man, this guy's really suffering. I don't know what they're going to do, but it's kind of silly when you kind of lose in the postseason the same way. As soon as you play a good team that's not in the American League Central, you get your tails beat, and you usually help the other team out by playing lousy baseball. If that's not a fireable offense, I have no idea what is. Because I told you the other day, you know, since 2010 and including this year, last time since they last made the World Series and won a World Series in 2009. They've spent $3.3 billion in payroll, and they have nothing to show for it in terms of adding another, World Series trophy to the 27 they already have. I mean, that's just not good enough for all that money. That's just not good enough.
So the Cardinals, with a couple of moves here, it appears, declining the options for next season on Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn. I don't think those are all that surprising. What are your thoughts on it and what they do next?
Well, I agree. It's not that surprising. I thought there was at least a chance maybe they would they would keep Gibson because he's an innings guy. The cost is relatively cheap. He really truly does possess leadership qualities. I mean, he helped those young pitchers out a lot. Maybe there's a way that they'll reconnect with him. They don't, if he doesn't sign with somebody else, he could always come back to the Cardinals at a lower rate. The starting pitching is going to be really interesting. This tells me that they're saving room in their rotation for Palante, who deserves to be in there. Michael McGreevy to get a shot. He deserves that opportunity. Then they have the minor league pitcher of the year throughout all minor leagues, not just Cardinals, Quinn Matthews. He's certainly going to be in the rotation at some point next season, probably sooner than later. And then you have a guy like Tink Hence, who has phenomenal stuff, hasn't been able to stay fully healthy. They've got a guy that they got from the Rangers in that Jordan Montgomery trade, Tekoa Roby, who's really good. He has a hard time. He has struggled to stay healthy. The point is they do have all these young arms lined up that they definitely want to get a look at and definitely want to give an opportunity to. So I think that these decisions, while not unexpected, it kind of reaffirms what we think. They want young pitchers to get their turn. So, and I like that. I think that's actually going to make next season more interesting to see a Quinn Matthews and McGreevy getting a full shot. Maybe a Tink Hence gets in there. I don't know. I like seeing talented young guys get an opportunity.
Well, Bernie, now that the MLB season is over, this is kind of when things start to happen during an off season. They don't usually happen right away, but the wheels have maybe in some cases already been in motion, but they really start to get moving here. How soon, other than this decision to not get the option on Gibson and Lynn, for the Cardinals moving forward, I mean, what are we looking at here when we can really start to see things happen?
Well, in terms of trades and things like that, and I think that's what we all have our eyes on. Like they're going to offload salary. They have guys that could be trade candidates. Ryan Helsley for sure will be traded. I don't know to who or when, but then you have Sonny Gray, who's got a no trade contract, but he's got two huge salaries his final two seasons. Wilson Contreras got 3 years left at about $17.5 million each year. You have Nolan Arenado with that huge contract. He also has a no trade. So the point is, like these no trade type deals, if the players consent, these things take a long time to work out. And the other thing about it is that if the Cardinals I would think they would have to pick up a big chunk of the money with any of these guys, especially Arenado. So I don't know what kind of return they think they can get, but there are a lot of obstacles that stand in the way of a swift trade with any of these names that we've talked about, maybe other than Helsley. And next week is the general manager meetings, and they all gather, and that's when they start to lay the groundwork for trades. They get, every general manager or president of baseball operations, they gauge each other's interests. Hey, what are you looking for? Well, yeah, we're looking for this, and we'd like to talk to you about this player or that player. There's just they all sort of take their notes. The preliminary discussions get underway just to see who's in the market for what.
Bernie Miklasz, as always, we appreciate your time. Love talking to you on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just after the 11:30 news on KMOX. And as we say goodbye, how about we hear a little bit about our friends at Saliga?
I'd be very happy to do that. Saliga Heating and Cooling has been taking care of our family, the Miklases, for about 16 years now, and I can vouch for everything they stand for, which is they're the best. Saliga Heating and Cooling has been taking care of St. Louis families since 1927, and I mention that every time because I think that's important. Because you have a lot of decisions to make about if you have an emergency, you got to call heating and cooling someone, and I know there's a lot of people that do a fine job. Don't get me wrong, but how about this track record? Since 1927, 4 generations of the same family serving all these generations of St. Louis families. How's that for credibility? How's that for building trust? And how's that for building a great reputation? They just didn't open 10 years ago. They've been around since 1927 and still going strong. So this this independent American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer can take care of whatever needs you have, which includes installing new American Stereo equipment. They'll try to save you money. They always do. They're not trying to hustle you or upsell you. There's no fooling around with that kind of stuff. You can trust them, and I think that's the biggest quality someone like a heating and air conditioning contractor can have. Trust, absolutely. They also have a maintenance program that you can look into. It's called the Priority Club. Here's the deal. Just go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. You'll see all the information, including the phone number, which is 314-481-7333.
Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jules on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jules on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jules on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. Jules on Hampton.
KMOX proudly supports the Musial Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 23rd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Musial Awards an event like no other. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events. It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, and now is the time to do something about it. With Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Created by a St. Louis physician, Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin is formulated with our proprietary blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Best of all, you can get Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin delivered right to your door with our convenient monthly subscription. Go to neovitamin.com and sign up for a subscription today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. Call 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100. 800-290-7100.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE.
Tune into the Home Improvement Show, sponsored by Mosby Building Arts, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX for expert advice on remodeling, design, and construction. This live Q&A show begins at 11 a.m. or find podcasts at mosbybuildingarts.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
I'm Brad Young. This is KMOX, the voice of St.
after the Washington Post made the decision, or I should say it was announced by the publisher that the editorial board would not be endorsing a presidential candidate this year or in any year moving forward, there were some reporters who resigned, but there were quite a few subscribers who canceled their subscriptions. This was allegedly because the owner of the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, who also owns Amazon, didn't want to endorse a candidate lest it upset one of the candidates and that affects his business with Amazon and so forth. So,
well, he has a government contract with NASA, which I think he was, that's what the reporting is, that he was concerned about what would happen
like
there.
Blue Origin contract?
Yes.
Okay. So there you have that. A little bit of a issue, I think, with Jeff Bezos owning the Washington Post and Amazon and, like, as you mentioned, Blue Origin. Well, 250,000 people canceled their subscriptions in protest of the Washington Post not endorsing a candidate in what they believe, is a very important election. I believe it's an important election. And I feel like the protest is misguided. It's not the reporter's fault. It's not the editorial board's fault. It's because of Jeff Bezos. If you're going to protest, wouldn't you protest Amazon instead of hurt a newspaper with reporters? Because we need newspapers. We need more newspapers than cable news. And I feel like this is hurting reporters.
Of course it's
and newspapers in general, I mean.
Of course it is. But people aren't making the connection to Amazon. They're just thinking, well, the Washington Post is the entity that decided not to do this. Therefore, we're going to take it out on the Washington Post. And this is, I had this thought about third-party candidates earlier, where I think they're pointless. I think voting for a third-party candidate, and we did have a texter earlier who said, I voted third-party before, but I did it as a protest vote to show the other two parties that I don't like them. And I get that. But canceling your subscription to the Washington Post and voting third party are similar to me in this way, that the people, if you're protesting against somebody, the people you're protesting against either don't see your protest or they don't care about your protest.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bezos does not care that people are dropping their subscriptions for the Post. He doesn't care about that right now. He cares about Amazon.
And you may not like, some reporters at the Washington Post, or I know the big thing is, quote unquote, the media and all of that. But I subscribe to the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal. I understand the political lean of the editorial boards. I understand that. I understand that there may be some reporters that I'm not a huge fan of. But overall, the work that they do is so important. I really enjoy the Washington Post. Isabel Kershudian, I know her personally. She started as a reporter for the Washington Capitals. She is now the Kyiv bureau chief and has been risking her life in Ukraine for the entirety of the war now. And I mean, she's getting stories from Ukrainian people and is doing such incredible, important work that otherwise we wouldn't see, because Russia's not going to tell you what they're doing. They're not going to tell you about the war crimes they're committing. And Isabella Kershudian is doing great work. Quick note, interesting, the Wall Street Journal has not endorsed a president since 1928. They don't do that.
I do not have a problem with newspapers endorsing or not endorsing candidates, but they can't not endorse a candidate because the owner of that newspaper is worried about backlash from whoever might win the presidency.
And this isn't hurting Jeff Bezos.
It is, well, he must think that it is. We can't operate like that because that is absolutely the opposite of an independent media. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. There's been some news on City Park where our soccer team plays. Tom Ackerman is going to have the latest on that in just a moment. It is the Chris and Amy show on KMOX.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. While we celebrate the reversal of Roe versus Wade, there is still much work to be done to support life and pregnant women before they cross state lines. Together, we can provide the love, support, and options that women need to choose life for their children. Coalition Life celebrates more than 3,500 clients served and thousands of lives saved since we began this mission with you. Each one is a miracle. Over the years, day in and day out, our team has walked alongside women facing the fear and challenges of an unexpected pregnancy. Through the support of this community, we have given them hope and a path to choose life for the children they carry. Visit coalitionlife.com to give your vital support while reducing or completely eliminating your state taxes through Missouri's 70% tax credit. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/gutter to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/gutter for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
KMOX, KEZK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Natural disasters happen every year. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone. Lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio listeners an incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
At 12 o'clock, we have clouds and 62 degrees downtown at the Arts and News. Is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring expert, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. I'm Maria Kina in for Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, it's developing. The home of St. Louis City SC has a new name.
Energizer Park will replace City Park as St. Louis City SC, the MLS franchise in Downtown West, has a new naming rights partner. The CEO of Energizer Holdings, Mark Levine, said MLS and soccer in the U.S. are experiencing tremendous growth. And this is truly an exceptional moment for Energizer as we find out new ways to engage our community. The change will officially go into effect January 1st. Tom Ackerman, KMOX News.
With Election Day approaching, election officials are stepping up security efforts at local precincts and urging residents to be aware. In South Carolina, the State Election Commission saw an increase in threats after allegations that they were registering non-citizens to vote, and more recently, after an ACLU lawsuit over DMV voter registrations. WLTX reporter Josie Frost has more on those measures being taken to ensure security for election workers.
Lenny Shoemaker is the director of registrations and elections for Lexington County. This year, they've kept some of the old safety measures.
We did put in glass in the front. We do have panic buttons.
They also started doing training with staff on de-escalation.
Sometimes it's all about not what you say, it's how you say it and how we need to follow the law and to try to give that same information to the voter.
Election officials in both Lexington and Richland County tell me the best way to ensure things go smoothly is to have everything prepared when you come to the precinct and to not wear or bring any campaign materials.
Closer to home, there still seems to be some uncertainty in St. Charles County when it comes to poll watchers during early voting.
I'm Sean Malone outside the St. Charles County Election Authority office where I just spoke to Election Director Kurt Barr. He does acknowledge to me that the law isn't necessarily crystal clear, but says he's bound by it and the county's legal understanding of how the law is written.
There is gray area
but I still don't see that the law allows for this early voting period. I think that it should be updated to.
I'm Sean Malone outside the St. Charles County Election Authority office where I just spoke to Election Director Kurt Barr. He does acknowledge to me that the law isn't necessarily crystal clear, but says he's bound by it and the county's legal understanding of how the law is written.
There is gray area, but I still don't see that the law allows for this early voting period. I think that it should be updated to allow for it, but I don't know if I have the legal right to do that.
Now, for Travis Hines, the District 7 committee man for St. Charles County's Republican Central Committee, he's actually not banned from being a poll watcher, according to Kurt Barr. And in fact, Barr said he's got the certificate signed in his office. But again, he's bound by law, saying that he can only be a poll watcher on Election Day.
From the KMOX Business Desk, Ameren received state approval yesterday to build a $900 million natural gas power plant in South St. Louis County, and agreed to steps that could boost wind and solar energy use. According to the Post-Dispatch, the Missouri Public Service Commission, meeting in Jefferson City, unanimously approved an agreement between Ameren and Renew Missouri, a nonprofit advocating for renewable energy. A check of the Dow at 12:04 from Stifel, still down 205 points to 205 to it's down 205 points to 41,905. And let's get a check of traffic right now. Looks like the good news is that accident on westbound 40 by Chesterfield Parkway has been cleared. And right now, just some, looks like we have some traffic slowdowns, and that's due to road work. And it's moving road work. Eastbound 40 past 141. The right lane is closed there. And for a stalled vehicle, westbound 44 at 55. That's on the right shoulder, though. And westbound 40, it looks like as you hit 270 there, you have a moving road work there as well. And that's pretty much throughout the afternoon. So be aware of that. Dave Murray has our forecast.
Our cool front is through. The rain and thunderstorms over. Now we've got partly sunny skies all afternoon with temperatures slowly dropping out of the 60s into the 50s and quite windy as the winds turn to the northwest. Tonight, trick-or-treat time, clear skies, breezy, 49-50 for the air temperature, clear and cold overnight, 42. Friday, sunny, 62. Friday night, dry, 43 for the overnight low. Saturday looks pretty, partly sunny, 66. Then late Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday, an unsettled stretch with periods of rain and thunderstorms, 72 for the high on Sunday. We are greeting November with unsettled weather, which is kind of typical. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
And those temps are dropping 59 degrees. Make that 58 now in St. Peter's. It is 62 in Florissant and 62 downtown at the Arch. I'm Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show, sponsored by St. Louis University Billikens Basketball. Choose your seats for 5 or more games and receive savings off the single game ticket price with a 5-game mini pack starting at $75. Purchase now at slubillikens.com.
Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji on KMOX. It is Halloween, man. One of the best holidays of the year. And it's when all the ghouls come out, and the goblins and the ghosts and the weirdos. And we love talking Halloween here. And so we go to the Quiver River Electric guest line this afternoon. And from the Lemp Mansion, I'm sure you've heard of the Lemp Mansion. Everybody knows it, but it is one of the most haunted places in the city and maybe
in America.
Even America.
It's the hauntedest.
And it is the hauntedest in all the land. A historian, a tour guide, and a resident paranormal expert, Betsy Burnett Belanger, is with us on KMOX. Good afternoon, Betsy.
Hey, hi. I like that spookiest and hauntiest.
Right?
That's great.
Right? And
Yeah.
you can use hauntedest if you want. You can use that word.
I'm feeling it right now. I'm going to use it forever now.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to say something you're going to be mad at me, and that is I'm a native St. Louisan, lived here my whole life. I've never been to the Lemp Mansion.
Oh, I'm not mad at you at all. Now you've got a good adventure in your future. You can come and visit and get it all firsthand.
And can I also, as I was looking at the Limp Mansion and the history of it, and it's so beautiful, but it's not haunted all the time, right? You can do, people have events there, like weddings.
Well, I will preface that a little bit because it is haunted all the time. This is a real haunt. In fact, there's a T-shirt in our gift shop that says the top 10 questions about the Limp Mansion. And the first one, is it really haunted?
Right.
The second one, is it really haunted? The third, fourth, fifth, all the way down to number 10. So 365 days, 24/7, it's haunted all the time. But you can have events.
Yeah.
We have lots and lots of weddings and corporate events and private parties and you name it. Church groups come there, so we've got lots going on.
Okay, yes, I think that's where I was confused because people wouldn't get married at the Exorcist house. You know what I mean? Like they don't go there to get married.
Well, that's only because the owners wouldn't let them.
But the Limp Mansion's like this beautiful historic building, and I'm like, wait a minute. People get married there. They have corporate events. It's different than
Betsy. Help me out. So there are some weirdos out there who would love to get married at a place like the Exorcist house, right?
I was just going to say, yeah, I'm sure there's somebody out there who would just love it. The weirder the better.
So the Limp Mansion well. You are a historian. You are a tour guide, and like you said, I'm guessing even some of your tours start out with someone like me going, so wait a minute, is this thing haunted all the time?
Right. And I love questions. It makes my brain work harder. And I just did a group not that long ago of senior citizens, and they had some great questions. So, I love questions.
So here's one. Betsy, is there a thing that you have experienced that is the strangest or one that has really actually scared you?
Well, you know what? I've been there for 28 years. And so I've had everything from really nice little things happening to just being startled to actually some really harrowing experiences, from running into a crabby old man on the third floor when I was doing an investigation, kind of by myself, really. And he wanted me out, kept telling me, get out, get out, get out. And then he kind of slammed into me with this stinky odor. And I stood up to him, and I said, I'm not afraid, like the Ghostbusters. But I said, come on, let me know who you are. Although I got to tell you, I was afraid. My teeth were chattering while I was telling him how brave I was. I'm a little short person, so it just, when I stand up, I really have to stand up to some of these ghosts. I've had noises. I've had, you name it. I've seen things, had spirits approach me, and a lot of times they're just curious about us, so they don't really scare me as much as they used to. But it's still a challenging place sometimes to be.
So there's been a lot of death, or there was a lot of death with the family who used to live there. Over the years, is that who is, as far as you can tell, haunting the place, or like the old man you ran into? Were you able to tell who it was?
Well, I think he lived there at a different time. The Lemps only lived there until 1949, and then the mansion was sold to become a boarding house. And I think that old man was actually from the boarding house. I think he might have been a maintenance worker or someone who took care of the building, because when he does appear, he's kind of in a gray uniform. Of course, when we see ghosts, most of the times they are gray or whitish or clear, so it could have been a different color, but it looked like a gray uniform. His name's Oscar, by the way. I finally got a name for him, and Oscar wasn't probably his name, but he likes it. So he's calmed down quite a bit since then.
How do you get the name?
Well, I got that name from someone who was on a tour with me, but the names that come from, say, the Lemp Mansion, there is a young little boy who is in our attic area, remains there as a spirit. Now, his name came directly to me from one of his brothers, who is also a spirit there. This brother's name was William Jr., also known as Billy, and his little brother, who was a challenged child, very, very challenged, not only a deformity, but his mental capacity was low and so forth. So after his parents died, he was kept in the servant area to be for his safety, so he could play and be a little boy. And his brother Billy gave me the name Zeke. So that's what we've been calling him since then. Because before that, they called him some pretty awful things.
So
by the way he looked.
At Lemp Mansion, people can stay overnight. You can go to lempmansion.com and you can see what the accommodations are and all the different things you can do at Lemp. Do people have similar experiences when they stay there overnight?
A lot of times they do. Of course, with real hauntings, if I could snap my fingers and provide a parade of ghosts for you, do you know how rich I would be? I would have my own show, I would, so it is subtleties that you're looking for most of the time. But I hear so many stories from the guests who stay in the bed and breakfast rooms. Actually, they call them, it's almost like a hotel room. It's beautiful, but they were the Lemp bedrooms. They have stories all the time of things that have happened to them, from very frightening things to mild things, or having something knock off a table, or noticing that there's a different odor or a different energy in the room. So people spend the night there and have lots and lots and lots of experiences.
Did the original lore and haunting of the Lemp Mansion, did that start with the series of suicides that took place there within the Lemp family? It was William Lemp Sr., William Lemp Jr., Elsa Lemp Wright, and Charles Lemp all killed themselves in that mansion between 1904 and 1949. Is it those suicides that led to everything surrounding the Lemp Mansion?
I think the lore, as you said, started after 1949. I'm sure that the Lemps who lived there, like Charles Lemp, you mentioned, he lived there by himself with two servants and his dog, his pet dog. And I'm sure that they had experiences with the spirits that are there, and that you mentioned, which would have been Billy Lemp and their mother actually is a spirit there. Her name is Julia. So that was probably going on pre-1949. But then after that, it was at that boarding house, and that's when the stories really started to happen, because the people would report different things happening. Then they would have people come in after the boarding house was no more, and there would be ghost hunters and paranormal investigators from all over the world finding out the stories about the Lemps and the suicides, and then they would do their own investigations and come up with a lot of what we talk about now.
So people who want to do tours, who want to stay overnight, the restaurant is open. It is running. Lempmansion.com is the website. Is there anything that people you think should know if they're planning a trip to come there, whether or not to stay or to eat or take a tour?
Well, the tours are most evenings during the week. So if they're looking for a tour, it might be a Monday or a Wednesday or a Thursday. Now I do the Monday tours, so I'm really happy with those. But on the weekends, we're open Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night for dinner. And then on Sunday, we have this wonderful all-you-can-eat family-style dinner with chicken and roast beef and ham and all the stuff that goes through it. That's our most popular dinner during the week. We also offer comedy murder mystery theater on Friday and Saturday nights. And as you said, all the catering events, from corporate events to parties to weddings and receptions and so forth. So that's all going on too. And then, of course, I'm there on Sunday afternoons, and you can always talk to me.
Yeah, so
I'd love to talk to you.
Go to Lemp Mansion, find Betsy, tell her you heard her on KMOX, and she will give you a high five. And then she'll introduce you to Oscar.
I'll try to. He's a pretty cool guy now that he decided I wasn't so bad.
Now that you're friends?
Now that we're friends. We're buds. We're best buds.
That's awesome. Betsy, we appreciate it. Enjoy Halloween, and it was really nice to talk to you about the history of Lemp Mansion.
Oh, it's great to talk to you, too. Have a good, happy Halloween season, and stay spooky.
Same to you. Lemp Mansion historian, tour guide, resident paranormal expert Betsy Burnett Belanger with us on KMOX. Neighborhood in St. Louis is called Kinloch, and it is experiencing some difficulty. There is a person in real estate who is who's been tweeting about the neighborhood and his concerns for it and what it means for St. Louis and hopefully what we can do about it. Michael Goldie joins us next on KMOX.
If you're thinking of getting new hardwood, carpet, laminate, or vinyl flooring at one of those big box or discount stores, put it on hold. As in Reinhold. Reinhold Flooring, covering St. Louis and beyond since 1988. Residential or builder, you'll find everything you need in our showroom on Telegraph. When it comes to investing in your home, you want the best in carpet, laminate, vinyl flooring, or area rugs. Put those others on hold with Reinhold Flooring. Stop by Telegraph Road or learn more at reinholdflooring.com.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th. Register now at DelHelpMeNow.com. That's DelHelpMeNow.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. DelHelpMeNow.com. Code 2024.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-900,000.
Natural disasters happen every year. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone, lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio listeners an incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
Attention, Missouri Republicans. Donald Trump Jr. has endorsed Amendment 2. Don Jr. calls legalizing sports betting a no-brainer for Missouri. Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 will give Missouri fans the freedom to bet too, and that means our money will stay at home instead of going to other states. Legalizing sports betting will generate more than $100 million for Missouri schools without raising property taxes. That's why our Republican candidate for governor, Mike Kehoe, is joining Donald Trump Jr. in supporting Amendment 2. Generating more money for Missouri schools without raising property taxes, giving Missouri fans the freedom to bet on games. Donald Trump Jr. has it right. Voting yes on Amendment 2 is a no-brainer for Missouri Republicans. Join Don Jr. in saying yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Getting ready for more rain and longer nights? We've got you. Right now, you can earn up to $25 in bonus rewards when you buy 2 Sylvania Silver Star Ultra bulbs and 2 Rain-X Quantum Elite wiper blades. More rewards and better visibility at America's #1 lighting destination, AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Offer valid for AutoZone Rewards members. Restrictions apply.
Local insights, breaking news. KMOX, the news station dedicated to St. Louis and the region. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
In an area near 170 and 70 here in the St. Louis area, there is a place called Kinloch, and it is one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city, or cities really in this area. And to talk about some of the issues that it is facing, and I don't think we're giving it enough attention, is Michael Goldie, who was in real estate. And you were there and you were tweeting about it, Michael. First of all, thank you for coming in. And secondly, tell us what you are seeing that you think needs to get more attention here locally.
Sure. Thanks for having me. I was driving by. I'm trying to lease a property in Ferguson, very close to the southeastern border of Kinloch. And I'm driving out of there and I just see these streets are lined with garbage. So I thought I'd take a closer look. And as I'm exploring some of these side streets, I'm seeing almost all of the streets are lined with garbage. Apparently this has been a problem for a number of years. There was public outcry a few years ago. Some politicians tried getting involved. There was a community effort to clean up some of this mess, but apparently nothing has been done. It looks pretty bad.
Yeah, it's awful. It looks, I mean, just like that street with Charlie Brennan. He organized a cleanup. We went out there in Wellston a few years ago. Gosh, I think it was before COVID now. But it was a dumping ground. This street, there would be not just people dumping trash, but industrial, like businesses were dumping their junk. If let's say you ripped out an old office and you're throwing the desks and the chairs, you have one picture that looks like a dystopian nightmare with, I don't know how many hundreds of mattresses.
Mattress Mountain.
Mattress Mountain. It's a mountain of mattresses, not just like 3. There are hundreds stacked up on each other. That whatever you think you're picturing in your head now with the amount of trash on the side of the road, it's worse.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that the citizens have to live like that, seeing this stuff every day. I talked to someone who lived there, and she said, I shouldn't have to come out of my house and see and smell this trash on a constant basis. Yeah, they need some help cleaning that up.
And you also went into the city. Is it a city hall? What is it? The city building?
City hall, yes.
And you spoke to Dr. Justine Blue about the trash issue.
What I can tell you, it is not new. As I just previously stated, that this has been an issue for the city of Kinloch for more than 30 years. So when you decimate my city, when you relocate 90% of my population and all my businesses move out, this is the result of it.
So what she's most likely referring to is between 1990 and 2000, Kinloch lost most of its population, 80% of its population. And some of that was the land was bought up. Tons of the property was bought up in the 1980s due to FAA noise abatement program because of Lambert Airport being so close.
Which is right across 170 from it.
Yes. And so, again, the airport starts buying up, or St. Louis began buying up this property. You're losing population. And it's so sad how this community, which was, in fact, the first African-American community to be incorporated in Missouri, has been decimated like this, like the city manager said.
From what I gather, the city of St. Louis is actually the largest property owner in Kinloch. I think they own about half the lots there. So some of the responsibility and who that should fall upon is up in the air. You got the city blaming the city of Kinloch. You got Kinloch looking at St. Louis County. You got St. Louis County looking at St. Louis City, and nobody seems to be able to get together to solve the problem.
So we do know that Mayor Jones is often talking about the north part of the city and that there are neighborhoods that need help. I'm assuming this is one of them she is referring to, or at least I would think so.
This is technically St. Louis County, but again, St. Louis City, because of their ties to the airport, because St. Louis City is the owner of the airport, they now own a bunch of this property in Kinloch.
So then what's the recourse? What happens next? What can be done?
That's a great question. They've had community cleanup in the past, and yet they say these problems just come back almost immediately after they clean it up. These dumpers, it has such a reputation for being a dumping ground. These contractors just come in from everywhere and just line the streets with this stuff.
So it's not just citizens; it's people who
no, it's not citizens.
No, I think it's more outside actors coming in there. And just...
That's what was happening in Wellston. They go to a community that doesn't have the resources, may not have a population that's able to take action, that doesn't have any agency. You start dumping in Chesterfield, all the people, right, kind of get together, business owners, the mayor, all of the residents are going to say, you can't do this. They're going to catch them. But in Kinloch, they had their population decimated by this land purchase, right, by the city of St. Louis because of the airport. They don't have the agency or the resources right now to take action. The outside actors are adding to this.
There are no streetlights. There's hardly any police patrol. So yeah, there's very little recourse for these people to when they come in there and just dump all their stuff.
You spoke to somebody named Randy?
I did. He's a manager at one of the local businesses.
It's a big problem. Right over here at the end of our entranceway, they've got a big old pile of trash that I guess Berkeley or Kinlock 1 removed it once, but within weeks it was back again. It's like the neighborhood's personal dump station.
How long has this problem been going on?
Oh, probably a couple years. It causes problems for us because we have some of the truck drivers have a hard time getting in and out of the lot. Anytime we get a heavy rain, a lot of the trash pours across the street and comes right down our lot. And I mean, really, we're concerned about it, from all the rodents that are over there living in it. It has caught fire once. They put it out once. But yeah, something needs to be done.
Well, so the question is, who's responsible for it? And nobody seems to know who's responsible.
Seems like everyone's pointing the finger at somebody else. Nobody wants to take responsibility. I would say the problem has to start with the Kinlock City Hall, I would think. But again, they
I don't know how
they don't have the resources.
They don't have the resources or
Right.
the money. I mean, if St. Louis City owns it, but it's in St. Louis County, they're just saying not my problem.
Pretty much.
And
From
as
what I gather.
as a property owner, do you feel like there's anything you can do?
So I'm a property manager. I don't own
Manager,
any
okay.
property in the area. I'm trying to lease one, technically on the Ferguson end of the border there. But it's difficult when people are coming in to look at that house and they're passing through Kinlock. It's it's a tough sell.
The text message into the station right now says the Kinlock issue is nothing new ever since the airport added a runway.
So I think originally they were thinking about adding the runway in Kinlock, which is why they were buying up some of that property. But then they actually ended up building that new runway in Bridgeton. So now they just have a bunch of city-owned empty lots in Kinlock.
Another texter says Kinlock trash also comes from their trash haulers that pick up their residents' waste, and at the end of the day, the haulers just dump it, which doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense. But this, I mean, it's certainly a problem that I don't think most people in the area are aware of, or if they are aware of, they just dismiss it. But it clearly is something we need to pay closer attention to.
I should mention, I do business in some of the roughest parts of town in St. Louis City, North County, and there is nothing else like this anywhere. It is by far the worst trash problem in the greater St. Louis area.
Well, Michael Goldie, we appreciate you bringing attention to it, and hopefully we can get some traction on it.
Thanks for having me. I hope something happens. Yeah.
It's very important. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
It is the Chris and Amy show on KMOX. We have some audio for you from former President Trump. We got a bunch of other stuff to bring to you as well. It is Halloween. I don't know if you know that. It's time to dress up if you haven't done it yet. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
At 12:30, we have clouds, 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. Here are some of the stories we're following. The search continues for the suspect in the ballot box arsons. And North Korea has tested a long-range intercontinental ballistic missile.
They keep going and going.
Stop the bunny, please.
And going.
A St. Louis-based company is securing the naming rights to City Park.
Please join me in welcoming Energizer to the St. Louis City SC family.
This is Stuart McMillan at City Park, soon to be Energizer Park. St. Louis City SC top brass called a press conference to announce the name change. CEO of the team, Carolyn Kendall.
Energizer literally represents the power of this stadium and our incredible fans produce on match day and beyond. And the organization aligns with our club on numerous levels.
Signage will be going up in time for the first home game. Last season, that happened in February. They're not disclosing contract details right now, but Energizer president, CEO Mark Levine, says this is a very long-term commitment.
A check of traffic, no major problems out there right now. Westbound 44 at 55, they still have that stalled vehicle on the right shoulder. And you do still have some road work for eastbound 44 drivers. Just right past 141, the right lane is closed. Again, that's ongoing road work, and it's very slow moving. Our forecast for today, windy, partly sunny by this afternoon, 68 degrees, but then those temps falling slowly. Tonight, clear and breezy with a low of 42, and for tomorrow, sunny skies with highs of 62 degrees. It's 58 in St. Peter's, 62 in Florissant, and downtown at the Arch at 62. I'm Maria Kina, in for Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hi, this is Johnny Rabbit. Isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? Midwest Money Company is buying your valuables. Midwest Money Company is buying gold, silver, coins, currency, diamonds, plus gold and silver jewelry. Call Midwest Money Company, 481-0770. That's 481-0770. Or stop by Midwest Money, 5900 Hampton for a free appraisal.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose, paid for by Bayer.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are ignoring kitchen table issues. Liberals are fighting to defund the police, indoctrinate kids, open the border, and put boys in girls' sports. I'm Ann Wagner. The people I talk to know better. Let's work for what matters most. Lower costs, parents' rights, and safer streets.
Ann Wagner is working for common sense solutions to the problems you face. She's challenged the big government machine in Washington and delivered a tax cut for middle-class families. Ann has stood with parents to defend their right to make decisions on the upbringing, education, and care of their children, protecting our kids from radical leftist indoctrination. And as crime rises, Ann has worked to protect our safety by fighting efforts to defund our brave police.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message. So pull up a chair, and together we'll turn the tables on Washington.
Fighting for your family. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Broadcasting from the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
You know the old saying, if you fail to plan, you might as well plan to fail. And the last thing you want to fail at is something as important as your retirement. Every week, Steve All talks about how to plan for this next phase of your life.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
Tune in to the All Financial Hour every Saturday morning at 10, right here on KMOX.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office.
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
Count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Podcast The Bernie Miklasz Show today on the free Odyssey app and follow to receive Bernie's daily take on Cardinals, Blues, or whatever else is in the news. AUDACY.
Do you know what today is, Ranj?
Thursday,
Yeah, but do you know what else it is?
October 31st.
Yes, and
It is 5 months till my birthday.
nope. Today is the official last day before the Christmas season begins.
That is correct.
Tomorrow,
That's correct.
the Christmas season begins. Hot dog, I've
I
already
said
been
that.
warming up.
I said that first. I
No,
said that first.
you did not
Yes,
say
I
it
did.
first.
I've always said for years and years and years, I've always said that Christmas season starts before Thanksgiving and it starts
No.
as soon as Halloween's over.
No, you don't
Yes, I
even.
did.
You can't pretend that.
I came up with it.
Listen, I'm already warming up because CeCe Winans released a new Christmas album. Love CeCe Winans, and I started listening to it just to see if I'm going to add it into the rotation. I am. So I have officially already begun listening to Christmas music and Hot Dog if it doesn't start officially tomorrow.
I agree with you. You know, we can find common ground, you and me.
We can. And you know what? This is like when who was it? The Venezuelan dictator imprisoning all of his political enemies, but declared Christmas early so you wouldn't notice.
Yes.
Since tomorrow's the beginning of the Christmas season, I think November 5th is going to be just jolly and holly.
Amy.
What?
I don't know if I agree with you. Just real quick, though. I was very elated to hear our regular Thursday guest, Major Garrett, Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News. He is with us every Thursday, just after that 10:30 news.
Unless he's busy.
Unless he's busy. Couple times he's ducked us. And I'm telling you, if he does it again.
I'm telling you, Marty, one more time,
There's
Marty.
going to be some problems.
There's going to be an issue.
I'll come after him and his family.
Oh my gosh.
I won't
Don't
go
say
after
that.
his family. Come on, I love Major Garrett. He's the best. Would never.
Andrea Mitchell is another story.
If Andrea Mitchell tweets about the Washington Commanders one more time, I will.
No.
I will force her to retire.
She already retired.
Told you. So, Major Garrett, one of the things that cannot happen, which I'm not sure how much it's going to matter in the end, but one of the things I think would worsen the whole election fraud, people not believing in the results, all of that stuff, is the longer it takes to get to a winner.
Yeah.
Of course, we would love to have a winner on Tuesday night next week. That's not going to happen, I don't think.
Okay, what he means is we got to be counting the votes. It's going to take a while to call it.
Yes. But Major Garrett, and I said to him, hey, we'll talk next week on Thursday, and hopefully we'll have a winner by then. And he said we will.
Michigan will move its votes much faster because they can pre-process mail balloting. All the big counties in Pennsylvania have new machines. They can move the paper ballots through faster. Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin will all be on the board quickly. As the night progresses, Arizona and Nevada we'll have an answer by Thursday morning.
I hope that is, and I trust him.
That's exciting.
I hope he's right. And of course, anything can happen from election day until Thursday morning. But it would be really nice to know by Wednesday night definitively who the new president is. Because the longer it drags out, it gives more opportunity for bad actors to insert themselves and sow doubt, because that's what they have done for 4 years now.
The second law of entropy, right? All things tend towards chaos over the course of time. So the less time we have here and just saying, okay, we counted all the votes, here we go, the better it is. Hey, Ron, we did talk a lot yesterday about the garbage comment made by President Joe Biden when he was inexplicably hosting a Zoom conference and speaking while Kamala Harris was giving the most important speech of her life.
I was thinking about this last night. The Yankees' fifth inning was kind of the fifth inning of bad defense was kind of like Biden making that comment.
Kamala Harris up 5-0 in the game, and Biden's like, not so fast there. So that was something that we talked about quite a bit. And I said, listen, a lot of people were saying it was worse than Hillary Clinton's basket of deplorables moment. I mean, important to realize that Joe Biden is not running for president. He's not the candidate, but he is the president. It was not a great thing to say.
And Kamala Harris, by the way, distanced herself from that comment. I mean, the immediately, and then the following morning, she said, well, he clarified his comment, but I do not, and I'm paraphrasing.
And
here,
he clarified it within 25 minutes or within 20 minutes.
It was pretty quick.
It was quick.
Yeah.
But at any rate, clarification or not, you can say, well, I don't buy it. Well, I get it. Let's ascribe to that comment the worst possible interpretation is that he really views all Trump supporters as garbage, and he said it. Not great. However, it is important to remember how Trump often describes those who don't support him.
We're a dumping ground. We're like a garbage can for the world. We will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country. I'll tell you what, any African American or Hispanic, and you know how well I'm doing there, that votes for Kamala, you got to have your head examined. 60% of Jewish people are going to vote for Kamala or a Democrat. And honestly, you ought to have your heads examined. We've been engaged in an epic struggle to rescue our country from the sinister forces within who hate it. They hate our country.
So, not exactly glowing reviews.
Well, I mean, also
that's strong language. I mean, using words like vermin and
he
pointing
literally
out,
used the word vermin,
pointing out
enemies within,
saying
constantly.
Jewish people who vote for Kamala, or people in the Black community who vote for Kamala, like saying they need to have their heads examined. Let's be honest here with the volume of the name calling. And you can say, well, Amy, are you justifying it? Is it whataboutism? No, I'm not. And I criticized Joe Biden and condemned the comment multiple times yesterday, to the point that I think people got mad. But volume matters and scale matters. And if you have a sheet of paper and you write down garbage on one side under the name Joe Biden, you are going to need multiple sheets of paper for Trump and the names that he calls people all the time. That's what he does. That's what he's known for.
Well, it's not whataboutism. It's consistencyism. That if you're going to have a problem with that word, which again, he may have Biden, we're talking about, may have meant that he thinks Donald Trump supporters are garbage. He may very well think that in his mind, or because he can't talk anymore, he may have been trying to say something else, and that's what came out. And you're not being realistic if you're not accounting for that possibility. Because listen to the guy, when he started the comment, he started to say that he was from Puerto Rico. Like he himself was from Puerto Rico. He does not articulate and does not speak clearly. So I think you have to concede that either one is possible. He either terribly misspoke or he actually believes it. At any rate, you have to treat each instance, whether it's uttered by Biden or uttered by Harris or uttered by Trump, you have to treat them all with consistency. And consistency will lead you to what you're talking about, Amy, is that the volume of it is much greater on one side. And it's been happening for a long time, referring to people who don't vote for you. Like you said, you need to have your head examined if you don't vote for me, or calling people vermin because they're in this country. If you have a problem with one, you need to be consistent with how you look at the other, and you need to be fair in how you're judging all of them.
Yeah, and the phrases like root out all the communists and fascists. Well, why? First of all, America was founded and created and set up to protect incredible differences, differences in religion, in lifestyle, in philosophy, and political views. You don't root out communists or Marxists. Also, what if the shoe were on the other foot? And what if Kamala Harris or Joe Biden said, we're going to root out all the Christians and all those horrible traditionalists who live in the Midwest? Of course, you'd be like, well, that's illegal. That's un-American. That's insane talk.
Well, I would bet that privately, and I'm not trying to speak for the Democratic Party. I'm not trying to speak for Harris or Biden, but I would not be surprised if privately each of them are wondering, how in the world can Christians vote for this guy? And there must be something wrong with them for voting for this guy. I bet privately they would never admit that they think that, but I bet they do. But imagine if they said it. Imagine if they said, there's something, if you're a Christian, there's something wrong with you if you vote for Donald Trump. Imagine if they said it, it would be the biggest news in the world.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's what they're thinking or not. I know there are people who are thinking that. And that's why there have been a lot of outspoken people within the faith community who have said Trump is not the answer. And it's actually pretty sacrilegious to speak of him within the messianic terminology that so often is being used, and like seeing the cross and Trump always intertwined. There was the Christian flag, the flag with the cross on it on January 6th, and that made me sick to my stomach.
And well, I mean, you're saying this as somebody who is,
yes,
that's your life.
That is my entire life, is my faith. It's my primary motivator. And it makes me sick to my stomach to see how it's awful that that the GOP has allowed itself to be hijacked by Trump. That is just absolutely unconscionable to me. But the church, and specifically evangelical Christians, the way that they have, so many of them embraced Trump and it just applied Bible verses and prophetic language and used like almost messianic language, makes me feel sick to my stomach.
Feel free to leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app. You got to download it, and that's where you can listen to the show and catch the podcasts and everything later. Let us know what you think. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. While we celebrate the reversal of Roe versus Wade, there is still much work to be done to support life and pregnant women before they cross state lines. Together, we can provide the love, support, and options that women need to choose life for their children. Coalition Life celebrates more than 3,500 clients served and thousands of lives saved since we began this mission with you. Each one is a miracle. Over the years, day in and day out, our team has walked alongside women facing the fear and challenges of an unexpected pregnancy. Through the support of this community, we have given them hope and a path to choose life for the children they carry. Visit coalitionlife.com to give your vital support while reducing or completely eliminating your state taxes through Missouri's 70% tax credit. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com.
Can't make it to Kansas City for the big game? No problem.
Kelsey, three-point stance to the left. Here comes an inside blitz.
Experience every Kansas City Chiefs game like you're in the front row at Ballpark Village.
25-20, downfield block, 10-5.
Join fellow KMOX Chief fans on game day and feel the roar of the crowd right here in St. Louis.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
Chiefs watch parties presented by Jim Beam.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews for Beast Plumbing, and if you need a new water heater like today, maybe it just went out, send them a picture of your water heater for an estimate, and you could have same-day service. Call 314-500-LEAK and find them online at BEISplumbing.com.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office.
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
Count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Don't you deserve healthcare you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Missouri, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Join us for the Urban League's 20th anniversary Salute to Women in Leadership Gala on Saturday, November 9th at the Marriott downtown. Get your tickets now at ulstl.com. Don't miss this memorable night when we honor Emmy recipient Lynn Whitfield with entertainment by Kenny Lattimore, Regina Bell, and Angela Winbush. Go to ulstl.com for tickets. ulstl.com for tickets now. See you there.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Do not trust your BMW to some quickie lube place.
bring it to our award-winning service department. That's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Barry. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
I'm Michael Calhoun. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Text message into the show says, Amy, you're not being very fair to Trump. After all, this guy knows 2 Corinthians. He may know 2 Corinthians better than anybody has ever known 2 Corinthians.
We're not sure we're looking into it.
And to take it one step further, he has a Bible with his name on it, produced in China. How much more religious can a person be?
It's pretty religious. If you're wondering, what does that mean? Trump was given a speech at Liberty University.
I did not get the reference.
Yes, this was a long time ago, but he was giving, I say a long time ago. Was it a couple of years ago? I think it was 2016, actually. So he was giving a speech at Liberty University, and he was talking about, we're going to protect Christianity. I don't have to be politically correct. And then he said, 2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole ball game. Is that the one you like? Saying that because 2 Corinthians 3:17 is, now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. He was at Liberty University, so he wanted to quote. To say 2 Corinthians 3:17 shows that you have never read the Bible before. Although I do like the phrase 2 Corinthians because it sounds like a joke.
Like they walk into a bar.
2 Corinthians walk into a bar.
Is this the same time when they asked him what his favorite verse was and he said, I like them all or something?
No, that was a sit-down interview. This was
Yeah.
a speech.
Okay.
Yes, but it's 2 Corinthians, not 2 Corinthians.
Also, another texter says, you guys should run for the NECFLP, National Excuse Center for Liberal Progressives. Okay.
Oh.
I
haven't heard of it.
Thank you, another texter says, for being very fair with your opinions you just expressed. I appreciate that. That comes from Robert. Let's take a phone call real quick before we go away. Greg, we don't have much time. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I don't either. I have to get into the police department.
Whoa.
Okay.
Are you in trouble?
Are you in trouble?
Hey, I've been a registered Democrat all my life. My mother, my father, all of them. I've got so frustrated with this election because Kamala Harris won't answer questions, directly pushed to answer the question. She refuses to answer the question. And all they've done, as far as I can see, is all this naming calling has got on my very last nerve. They went from, oh, he's a bad man, he's an orange man, to now he's a racist, to now he's Hitler. And I'm like, well, you know it's not true, but you know it infuriates people, so you do it anyway. So what did I do? I walked into the poll on Tuesday, and I pulled every red lever I could. I even knew 2 people personally that were on the ballot, and I said, should I vote for them? I know them. And I went, no, punish them too. At some point, we got to make a change from this way we're doing politics in this country. And if we don't do it now, we never will. We won't ever have a fair election or a fair opinion of somebody that's going to do the issues. We'll always have people that think, I can just cast names and I can get elected.
Greg, appreciate the phone call. That is certainly one way to do it. So
I appreciate it, but
appreciate the call.
I appreciate the call. I also like the phrase pulling the red levers. Like, I kind of like that idea. Like, I
want to go back to lever pulling? I want to go back to hanging chads.
Do you know I've never been so disappointed as when I went to a casino for the very first time in my life. I had $14 and I went for content for my show. I thought, here's a big show. Amy goes to the casino. Guess what? They don't have levers anymore. They're all
no
buttons.
more levers.
What in the world?
Stupid.
It's dumb. Let's bring back levers.
Tomorrow, back at 10 o'clock, Amy Marxkors will be out, but Bernie Miklas is going to sit in with me from 11 to 1 tomorrow. I've got Hancock and Kelly starting the show with me at 10 o'clock. We'll be 4 days away from the election tomorrow morning. So you'll want to listen in, get the Odyssey app, and take us wherever you go. Amy's back next week, but you and me will be together tomorrow. Again, Bernie's sitting in with me from 11 to 1. I'll start at 10, though, with Hancock and Kelly right here on KMOX.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for 213 Flashpoint Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. It'll help take you to the next level like it has for me. I've been going for a couple of months now,